All right, everybody. Good evening. After a big Niners win today, Larry will be with us shortly. He is any moment he'll be here, but we wanted to get on, and rather than leave you guys waiting in the chat room any longer, we thought we'd get going. And Ryan Smith on the left there, yours truly, Dan Cochimilio. Big Niners win, as we said, but a big tough loss with Jimmy Garoppolo going down for the season today.
Yeah, and Larry, and yes, it is true that Larry is lazy.
Where are you, lazy? Where are you, Larry? All right, so let's. We thought we'd start off with an interview that was done earlier in the season, before the first game, I believe, wasn't it in the preseason? Right?
I think we did two with the Brockinator.
Yeah, we're gonna
do you guys want to see September
QB1.
or October?
Let's do October. Yeah. We're going to go with the new 49ers QB1, an interview that Larry had with Brock Purdy. And as Rye gets ready to fire it up, we'll be talking Niner football tonight.
The Niner locker room with Brock.
Talking the latest about Aaron Judge. And
we got some inside info on Judge. And let's just say we're teasing it for later.
Yeah,
Purdy, and you got a chance to play against KC. What'd you think of your first NFL regular season performance?
Yeah, man, I was excited to go out there. Obviously, we were trying to put up some points at the end of the game and everything, and that was on my mind. Just went out there, played like it was just another game. Obviously, it was the 53-man roster, not just a preseason game or anything like that, but for me, man, I was out there with some really good players on my team and just trusted in the play calls and kept it simple. So that was really about it.
Yeah, is it different at all than the preseason action because it is a regular season game? I mean, it's also a situational football deal, so you kind of know what you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just going into it, like, just the situation is really what I was thinking about. I wasn't trying to overthink it and, oh my gosh, I'm in my first NFL game or this or that. You know, I was going out there and we had to put up points. I was just trying to drive the ball any way that I could, and just went after that way. They were obviously playing a lot of too high, trying to prevent us from going down the field. So I didn't see any, extremely crazy looks or anything in terms of blitzing and hard third down situations. But I thought, just getting the ball to guys like Ray, Brandon Ayuk, all those guys, and let them do their thing. So.
This is the first game in your NFL career you're actually going to get a chance to prepare for a team that you've already prepared for once. What did the Rams give you guys defensively in that first matchup? What are you guys expecting to get in this game?
Yeah, I think they're a team that does what they do very well consistently. I think since we played them so much, they might try to switch up some things, give us some different looks and things like that. So we just have to be ready for everything. But obviously you go against some great players like Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and those are guys that even though, we had success against them for the first time doesn't mean that it's going to be the same way the second game. So we have to be on point with everything that we do, knowing that this is an extremely well team. They're a team that just won the Super Bowl last year, and we're not forgetting that or anything. So, going against them for a second time, it's like a brand new, fresh start, clean slate, and it's at their home this time. So we got to be ready.
As a quarterback, do you take account before each snap where a guy like Ramsey is because he is a special talent, or do you just, he's just another guy out there on the field and we'll go where we need to go with the football?
Yeah, I think, first off, just focus on our scheme. What are we trying to do per play? And then, if it comes down to situational football, it's like, okay, do I want to throw to his side or not? That kind of thing. So I think it just depends on the situation and everything. But I think first and foremost, you just got to stick to the game plan and do what, Coach Shanahan's asking of us. So,
what do you think of the addition of Christian to the offense? Obviously, it never hurts to get an explosive, big-time NFL weapon. How's he fit in so far?
Yeah, he's been great, man. Just the way he goes about football and his routine, you can tell this man's all about work, all about ball. And so everyone respects him. He's been great to everybody, fits in great with the locker room, and we're excited, man. We just want to get the ball in his hands, let him do his thing, and it just adds another weapon to what we have. So it's pretty cool. I think having him, B.A., Debo, George, like all these guys, man, like on the field at the same time, it's pretty special. Not a lot of teams have that, so we're excited.
Yeah, you got a lot of weapons. I mean, that gives the team confidence. I would imagine you look around and you're like, wow, I've got some of the NFL's best weapons to throw to here or hand it off to.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just growing up, you dream of playing on a team like this with all these kind of superstars and stuff. So just got to put it all together and roll and get on the streak. And man, it's gonna be fun down the stretch. So.
You know, we saw on draft day you got a big support system, big family rooting section. What do they say to you about your performance? I know they watch. You couldn't call your house and be like, did you guys watch it? No, we missed it.
Yeah.
They all saw it. So what were the reviews? What did mom, dad, sisters? What did they all say?
Yeah, man, they're excited for me and happy for me. You know, just for the fact that I played in a regular season game. Not everyone can say that in life. So for me. Getting up to that point and playing was pretty special, but I know that I can do more and just got to stay ready for everything moving forward. But mom and sister were happy, and of course my dad was excited. But he's like, "Man, you got to finish the drive." He's being critical of some things, but I love it, man. And honestly, I'm my own worst critic. Like I'm hard on myself, and I want to do everything perfect. So for my dad to be real with me is awesome. I love it. So, but it's awesome to have that kind of support group and family like I have. So,
did you see the stat that you're like the first Mr. Irrelevant to ever complete a pass in the NFL?
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
That.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I'm thankful for that, I guess. So it's pretty cool.
It's this Mahomes and Reed are obviously top of the sport. I'm just kind of wondering what you think as a guy who plays offensive football, plays quarterback, watching Mahomes from afar, watching Reed call plays from afar. What do you think of the momentum that they have going as a tandem right now? Because it's pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret, man. They got one of the best offenses in the league, and just the way their chemistry rolls, and obviously the leader in Mahomes and. Mahomes and Reed have been together for years now, and so to see them go in and thrive and make it work, especially against like our defense, man. Like we have a really good defense, and so for them to do what they did and have success, like it's not easy. So definitely respect them and what they do. But for me, watching on the sideline, like in person, it's pretty cool. I'm like, man, like Mahomes is out there doing his thing, and he's competing, and obviously we want to win in every situation, but learning from the greats is pretty cool.
Hey, we'll finish with the Rye's got 5 fun, quick questions, and we'll go rapid fire.
Cool. All right. Favorite musical artist?
Favorite musical artist? It's got to be George Strait, King Country.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'd say The Departed.
The Departed. Oh, great. Okay. Favorite non-football athlete?
Favorite non-football athlete? Probably Rafael Nadal. Tennis player, he's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. Greatest college football memory?
Man, probably beating Texas on the road in 2020 during our COVID year to secure our spot into the Big 12 championship. It was pretty sweet.
Okay, then funniest guy in the locker room?
Funniest guy in the locker room, probably, I don't want to tell George Kittle, but George Kittle's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's a little too basic.
Last one. You go out, you hit the bar, and you run into trouble. And you can have any guy in here covering your back. Who do you want covering your back?
Dre Greenlaw, period. Yeah.
Didn't have to think about that too much.
No, I've thought about that. I'm like, man, I'd want Dre to have my back. So
he said we asked him like hardest hitters on the team. He said him and Z. So yeah, makes sense. Last one's most famous person in your cell phone.
Say it again.
Most famous person in your cell phone.
Oh gosh. Honestly, probably like Christian McCaffrey.
Fair.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks guys.
This interview was from Brocktober 27th. We also talked to him in September back when, because the thing is, when you're in the locker room, if you go up to one of the main guys, the second you start asking questions, you just get what Larry refers to as the media gangbang. Everyone just swoops in and then uses it as an opportunity to get their questions off. So, this was especially like at the beginning of the year when it was like Trey and Jimmy, we were like, you know what? Everyone can have those guys. We're going to go up to Brock Purdy because, we're going to get in early. And then about October, he's the backup and, he's getting a little more requests, but now I think we might be too little people for him. Dan, I think you're muted.
Oh, that's right. I muted myself earlier because I was talking to Larry. Yeah, Larry will be here any minute. He's coming. So people are asking where he's at. He's on his way. I will say this though, for those who are now ripping Jimmy, or maybe were already ripping Jimmy, you know, I'm thinking Mr. BMW.
He's just it's okay. He's just trying to like release
Yeah,
some of that.
yeah.
I mean, everyone's feeling a certain way after the injury, and
He's calling Jimmy G fans morons. So, I mean,
whatever.
come on.
Whatever.
Here's the thing, Blotus. No one's saying Jimmy G's the all-time greatest quarterback, but if you look at the Vegas odds, they just went down for the Niners. They were plus 750. Now they're plus 900 after the injury. Immediately after the injury, now the Niners. So Vegas thinks that Jimmy's a better quarterback. Most NFL veterans will tell you that. Most quarterbacks that have played in the league, Steve Young. So Jimmy, so basically what you're calling when you say Jimmy G is fans.
He doesn't even mean it, Dan.
I mean, Steve Young's a moron. I mean,
so this is what I'm hoping. I am hoping, although you know what, the bubble may burst on Brock Purdy at some point. I'm choosing to be super positive because at this point, think about this. He is the Trey Lance supporters / haters and the Jimmy G supporters / haters. They've been bickering all year, It's caused a complete fracture in the fan base. Now we get to all unite behind spunky, moxie-filled Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Hey.
And hell, man. Now it's like now the Niners are playing with free money. It's unfortunate because they have such a Super Bowl roster. And you see that now the NFC, it's kind of, there's now a separation where Philly looked phenomenal. I sounded like Larry during the live reads. Phenomenal. And then Dallas freaking hung a 50 burger tonight. But still, I mean, Brock Purdy, he just has to be a point guard, a pass first point guard. He just has to distribute to these weapons. As long as he distributes to these weapons, doesn't turn the ball over, they can compete with anybody still.
Well, one thing, Rye, is he's never been surrounded in his career. He wasn't playing at Alabama or Ohio State. He was playing at Iowa State. So he's never been surrounded with such incredible talent. I mean, you look at the Niners receivers and backs. These are all five-star guys would be, they're five-star guys in the NFL. And Tony Nagatani, if I pronounce that right, Nagatani, I think that's right, donates $4.99, says, let's just all talk about how great it is to have Eric Armstead back. Yes, Armstead was playing today. He's on a pitch count, but no further aggravation that we've heard of to his foot. So that just means probably more playing time next week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Armstead was huge. I mean, this team's, guess what? Now the margin of error is slimmer, so they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl if Eric Armstead isn't playing significant time.
Yeah,
he's so underrated.
Hutch Serves Gaming donates $1.99, says our O-line better not let Purdy get hurt.
Purdy's got to learn to throw it away. I mean, with Jimmy, that was really tragic because in my mind, I felt like the beginning of the game, because they scored on the first play, it was like, oh my God, the Niners were thinking, okay, we got to put up touchdowns if we're going to keep up today. Like, we can't be getting field goals. And Jimmy, felt the pressure and realized if he got sacked there, it might put him outside of field goal range. And then with two DNs on his back, tried to just will them forward like 3 or 4 yards. And now it's like, it was so unconsequential. But I mean, the guy, you got to give Jimmy his props, man. The guy is so damn tough. And he was, whatever you want to say about his play, he was the consummate professional, hasn't said anything, I mean, look at all the guys in the league that have just crumbled under this kind of pressure. Baker Mayfield. So the fact that he was such a good dude, and I really hope that he's still there. A team out there like the Jets or the Colts realize what kind of a fit, like a culture builder he is, and they decide to pay him big money. I think it's over for him in the Niners, but he deserves to go get a nice contract somewhere for some long-term security.
I mean, I don't think the Niners end up bringing him back just because this is his third season-ending injury in 5 full seasons. So, I mean, that's 60% of the time. And the reason they really drafted Trey was not because they didn't like Jimmy. It was because of the availability, and unfortunately, we lost Trey as well. So
what do you think about this, Mario? And I'm sorry about my voice. I'm just a little
yelling
scratchy
today, or
no? I've just had this on and off again sickness, sort of, not sickness, just kind of the sniffles. And
I knew something bad.
Yeah.
Once you pull that video out, they sent you today too of
Kapler.
Yeah, while we're talking about that, yeah, Kapler was at the game today wearing a CMC number 23 jersey, all black. He's dressed in all black with what else did he have? He had these kind of funky boots or shoes on. It was
wait, yeah, Dan. Okay, I got to interrupt. Central Valley King says, I won't be ashamed wearing my Jimmy G jersey, even if he's not on the team. Hell yeah, wear that jersey, because the dude, honestly, this whole sort of Shanahan, everything kind of started when Jimmy got here. And Dan, I'm ashamed of you for not wearing your Jimmy G hat for maybe what may be the last time it will ever go to use. It's about to be an antique.
I'll have to pull it out before I bury it. I mean, oh man, gee, Jimmy G.
Hello.
Speaking of Jimmy G, here is Larry K.
What is going on, fellas? Sorry I'm a
Italians.
little late to the party, man. I got home. I had to make the turkey sandwich. Then I felt like, I started just watching the game again. I started watching the first half.
You fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep, but here I am. Anyway, Ryan is a massive moron.
Oh, come on.
Uh-oh, what did I walk into, guys?
Oh, no, nothing bad.
Are we going Caruso for Wiseman?
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see the Kerr audio saying, man, we'd really love to have you or something like that?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Was that
maybe it's not as crazy as we were?
Or is that about the Warriors?
We don't know. It could have been about the Olympic team, Could have been about the Olympic team. I'm sure he's going to say it was. Otherwise, isn't that tampering?
Hutch Serves Gaming donates $1.99. Says Jimmy G needs to go to a team with a strong O-line. Well, now we're blaming the O-line for that today.
Well,
thank you. Yes, thank you, BMW Lotus. I am just a kid. It's Danny that deserves all of your scorn and hatred.
Ryan is just a kid, so I can give him a break. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Blotus is BMW Lotus is a
Tim Donay's crew. If anyone knows ethics and integrity, that is a great comment. Larry effing Krueger.
Larry effing Krueger with 2 big calls before the year. 1, Rams will miss the playoffs. 2, you can win games with Brock Purdy. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, someone asked my kid's like, because my 13-year-old Christopher. Also, yeah, he's a big football fan. He's got 4 fantasy teams. So we watched football this summer, and he's like, Dad, you're doing a lot of interviews with Brock Purdy. I said, I know. I kind of like Brock Purdy. And then so I showed him some of Brock Purdy's highlights, and he's like, yeah, he's pretty good. And then so we were kind of geared up to watch him in the preseason. And then when he started playing in the preseason, he was playing well. We're looking at each other like, Are we the only people seeing this? The ball's coming out on time, and he looks pretty damn good.
In fact, Anonymous was a little bit before you. I think you might have stole his take.
yeah, right. Yes, no, I was on Purdy first. Anyway, but yeah, Brock is, it was a weird feeling tonight, wasn't it? Because in a way, it was a crushing night, because they lose their starting quarterback and a guy who's playing terrific football. Look at that. 49er George. Larry K., you killed it. Now we will rally around Brock Purdy. 50 bones.
There we go.
Prince, that was promised. The only one that can bring everyone together.
Have you guys thrown out that we're looking for $100 to get Danny to...
we're looking for more than that. We're looking for
50, 51, 52.
We're looking for a couple $100 in the chat here tonight, because we get a couple hundred more. I'll be off on a flight tomorrow to San Diego to the winter meetings.
I can't wait for that.
So I'll have to run over there.
Danny in the lobby. Brian Cashman, Dan Coach Emilio.
Buying a ticket at the last minute.
Tony, don't you be so reasonable. That is just too.
Tony Nagatani. Purdy's a solid quarterback 2, amazing quarterback 3. Just his arm is going to limit him down the stretch. Well, let's see it. Let's see it,
man.
Were they limited today? It was kind of a weird vibe, though, wasn't it? Because they lost Garoppolo, so you'd think it would be a funeral dirge. But then they got a win over a good Dolphins team. And the quarterback who's going to have to take over really showed that he can play the position. And he looks good. And he looked the way he looked at Iowa State, and the same way he looked in minicamp, and the same way he looked in training camp, and the same way he looked in the preseason. Total command, very calm, pretty accurate. And what you saw today was Brock Purdy at his most inaccurate. That's what's so exciting about today, is Brock was not accurate today compared to the way Brock normally is. He missed 4 or 5
there was
throws.
some nerves and you're not
wasn't expecting to play. Well, didn't get
exactly.
starters reps.
Yeah, all that. He should look better next week.
You can only prepare for a test that you don't take or whatever, so many times before you stop prepping with the same diligence. I think that's just human nature, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
But my senior softball game says, here's $2, bring in Cap for a look. Yeah, every time there's a
Gabe Kapler.
Every time there's a quarterback going down, we're going to hear about Cap. Greg T says, Larry, stop bragging. All right.
Greg T did give you his flower. He said, got to give Larry his flowers.
My only concern.
All right, I'll stop bragging. I'll stop. What I saw that you guys all didn't see. Now, can you imagine? I have a buddy who goes up to people at cocktail parties, and his opening line is this: "You're wrong, and I'll tell you why." You want to see people just sprint away from a guy at a cocktail party? Just walk up to anybody and start the conversation with, "You're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why." I mean, I told him, I said, "Dude, you're like if we invited Alan Dershowitz to the to a party. It's like everybody's just running from you."
My biggest concern going forward with Purdy, not that Purdy can't get the job done, it's just that defensive coordinators are going to start, planning for him. And I was reading here an article online that says Purdy looked good in relief, but he represents a significant downgrade from Garoppolo, and teams will be able to plan for him now. The 49ers have the NFL's best defense by a lot of metrics, but the offense will take a hit.
Tony Nagatani, I bought a Purdy jersey today. No lie. I hope you're right, Larry. I just saw some arm strength questions. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a big arm, but the quarterback position's more than that. Otherwise, Drew Brees wouldn't have thrown for 40,000 yards or whatever he threw for.
And did his arm look any different than Tua?
Tua maybe has a little bit more zip.
Tua was off today.
I think Purdy will have more zip on the ball down the road when he works better, more on the mechanics. And
he didn't look loose at all, ready to go. He kept warming up on the sideline between each series. He was like, it was
what I like is he takes chances down the field. And he's accurate and he's calm and his footwork is really good. So in the short game, he can get the ball out on time. That's where, there's quarterbacks that can get the ball out on time if it's not the short game. But if it's the short game where every step is vital. You got to have your footwork down and you got to know the play inside and out. And this guy does. He's also he comes from an athletic family. He has this this not like a braggadocious, he's not a bragger type guy, but he's very confident.
I like that.
And he's very, very competitive.
You better be that
cannot coach competitive.
I mean, quarterback, you got to be one of the most competitive guys on the field if you're a QB. I mean,
exactly. Hutch serves gaming, Bosa for MVP. It needs to be talked about.
I think more for defensive player of the year. I don't know MVP. He may be the team's MVP.
He's not winning the MVP over Mahomes.
No, not in the league, but he may be the team's MVP, and definitely he's up the running. Him and Micah Parsons for defensive player of the year.
Micah Parsons has a pretty big lead in terms of the betting markets, but I do think that Bosa should make a run. I mean, I'm hoping for my sake.
Bosa look at all the pressures that not just sacks. Forget the sacks.
But what Cowboys fans will say is Parsons is a Dallas Cowboy, so it means more. And
Yeah.
B, he does have to, sometimes he's not always just going after the quarterback. He does drop back in coverage sometimes. I don't know.
Mr. BMW Lotus says, now we're all going to see a real quarterback shine, Purdy. And I have a feeling the Niners just got better. Well, I'll say this, Jimmy G has a lot of ability, and he can flick it. And put some pretty good zip on it, where Purdy's got to step into that throw a little bit more. But Purdy, I also think in some cases sees the field better than Jimmy. And I think his accuracy on the underneath stuff and his timing is absolutely, on point. So we shall see. I think Brock Purdy's biggest concern for me is that he's such a tough guy that, it's not college. Somebody's got to remind this guy it ain't college. And in this situation, the 49ers are one Brock Purdy injury away from
irrelevancy,
basically tanking the rest of the year.
Mr. Irrelevant.
If it gets to Josh Johnson or Jacob Eason or whatever, it's over. This is it. So if I was Brock, have a clock in your head and learn the lessons that Jimmy learned and by living vicariously through him. In other words, don't hold the ball forever. Defensive players are dangerous in the NFL. They'll get you killed, and just throw it away and go to the next down. Throw it away and go to the next down is probably the best advice that any veteran quarterback could give any young quarterback, right? Because you just don't want him taking, like today, he rolled right, then he planted, and he had a defender barreling down on him. That's the Leonard Marshall, Joe Montana. Montana rolled right, came to a complete stop. But here comes Leonard Marshall, and that's it. Good night, Joe Montana in 1990 season. And the same thing easily could have happened to Purdy today. So that move of rolling right, being flush from the pocket, throw on the run or set your feet and throw quickly. Don't set your feet and think you're going to be there all day, because you're going to get run over like a Mack truck. I mean, he came very close to just getting destroyed on that play. And, all these quarterbacks are one,
teams are going to be looking to.
Tua got smoked at the end of this game.
Yeah.
Hey, how much more teams, there was a year, I can't remember which defensive coach it was that got fined for putting a bounty on players.
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams. Yeah. But teams are going to be looking to knock out Purdy, because they know they knock out Purdy, there's nothing behind him.
Wait, we gotta take people inside the Krueg show. We were on the phone with Dan on the whole ride down. Dan spent a good 20 minutes trying to figure out who could possibly be picked up as a fourth string quarterback, even throughout Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Funny you're looking at that. I'm still looking right now. Actually, I am.
Danny is searching for another quarterback.
I'm not crazy about Josh Johnson or Joe Johnson or whoever it is. Or
Josh Johnson's never playing it down.
Well,
he's never playing it down.
Well, Purdy. I mean, you're one play away.
I mean,
Purdy's
like 6 foot.
I'm not even. I think Josh Johnson, to be honest, guys, is somebody who's nearby, and he'll be the answer until they get the next answer. He's not the answer as number 2, and I think they'll look at other guys. They worked out James Morgan earlier this year. I think Morgan's better.
Is Tyrod Taylor available?
No, Tyrod Taylor has a job.
Also, everyone checked this car out because it was insane, and I just have never seen anything like it. Larry and I were on the road. There was a car covered in Christmas lights. Unlike just about anything I've ever seen. It was actually pretty cool looking.
It did look cool. All right, let me go to Spot Track for football, and I'll tell you who the best quarterback free agent is.
Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Brett Favre.
Okay,
Bring
so
Brett
let's
back.
see.
Tim
Unrestricted free agents 2022.
Carlo P's asking if Purdy got hurt today, who would have been QB? Was it Juice?
It was Juice. Yeah,
Juice.
Okay, let's see who's the guys who are the best players out there that are unsigned. Okay, this is the top of the free agent market. I think all the Joshua Dobbs might have just been cut.
Josh
So he's
Dobbs.
out there. Kevin Hogan,
It's amazing.
Kevin Hogan. He won some games with the Browns.
former Stanford
Amazing that
Cardinal.
there's like 60
Cam Newton?
jobs and
Cam
there's not
Newton?
60. That tells you how
He knows CMC.
unbelievable.
You
People
want
have been
Cam
saying
Newton?
Cam Newton.
You can have Cam.
I mean,
You mentioned Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tim Boyle, Mike Glennon, AJ McCarron, Josh Johnson, Jacob Eason, which is the guy they have, right?
Yeah, they have Jacob. Eason.
Jeff Driscoll, Brett Hundley, Garrett Gilbert. He's not terrible. Davis Webb. You want to go Davis Webb? He's a good guy. I like Davis Webb. He's
Yeah,
27.
Davis Webb played at Cal.
Yeah, you could do worse. Jake Luton, who played at Oregon State. He's not bad. They had Kurt Benkert in earlier from Illinois, but they cut him. I kind of like Anthony Gordon, who was with the Chiefs, and he's from Pacifica. And he's
Too
kind of
bad
a
the NFC
run-around
South-
athletic guy.
Too bad the NFC South sucks, because if they knocked out Brady and the Bucks were finished next week, if they beat the Bucks, maybe Brady could convince them to waive them. And the 49ers could pick them up, but
Cole
they'll
Kelly,
still win the division probably. Even
Carson
if they lose.
Strong from Nevada's out there.
a lot of people
Chase
like Carson
Garbers.
Strong.
Yeah, Chase Garbers, Carson Strong,
Chase Garbers
Cole
now.
Kelly.
Chase Garbers is he's a little bit like Purdy, a little downgrade. Yeah, I'm looking for
This is
somebody.
where you're at.
You need
Cole
a
Kelly's
veteran.
interesting. He's
To me,
6'7".
I want a
Cole
veteran.
Kelly's interesting. He played at Southeastern Louisiana, and he's got tremendous stature. I think he's like 6'7", 230.
Too tall?
He's got a pretty good arm.
Why not Osweiler?
You know, it's an interesting group of quarterbacks. I kind of always liked Anthony Gordon too. I don't know, what do you guys think of Anthony Gordon? He's 25. He played with the Chiefs. He's a Bay Area kid. He's from Pacifica, and then he went to Wazoo.
As I brought this up to make fun of Dan, and now we're doing 5 minutes.
Unfortunately, quarterback.
You know what though? They do need a stable veteran that's played in the league, I believe, to be in the quarterback room, backing up, just getting reps, learning the offense. Because let's assume Purdy takes him to the playoffs. But what happens if Purdy goes down with an injury?
It's over, Dan.
It's
The
over.
season is
It's
over.
over.
You're
Not with that
quarterback.
defense. You can get a
Nobody
veteran
even wins with their
quarterback.
backup. Typically, you're saying what happens if the third string quarterback goes out? Maybe Shanahan gets in there.
Yeah, maybe
could.
that would be
Maybe
good.
maybe they activate Greasy. Why not activate Greasy? He knows the offense.
Yes.
Rakeem Jamani
Ryan
says here's
Greasy.
$9.99. Guys, now that Jimmy G is out for the season, should the Niner fans kiss our Super Bowl dreams goodbye? No,
Ain't over
I don't
till
think
the
so.
fat
I
lady
think they
sings.
got a shot. What the hell? I don't think. I'll say this, and I've said this a lot, many times. You guys know. Maybe people in the chat have not heard me say that. I don't think there's a huge difference between Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. I really don't. I think there's a far greater distance between like Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes than there is between Garoppolo and Purdy. Now, Purdy does some things better than Garoppolo. I think he's a little bit more accurate. Jimmy's got a little bit better arm. Obviously, all that experience. But if you want Purdy to manage a game and make 4 or 5 big throws a game, I don't know that I would want him throwing it 30, 35 times a game, but I'm not afraid of playing with Brock Purdy. And I know from talking to Kyle Shanahan that he isn't either. He is not afraid to go with Brock Purdy. He sees the special traits that I see in Brock Purdy. And that's why they moved off of Sudfeld. Remember the conversation of July? How quickly people forget July. Remember July, guys? Hey, man, they're not getting rid of Sudfeld. They gave him $3 million guaranteed. He ain't going anywhere. I actually had beat writers wager with me that Sudfeld would beat out Purdy when I told them, I tweeted out, Purdy's a lock, absolute lock to make the roster. Really? I mean, I literally had a veteran Niner beat writer wager with me, and he still owes me, by the way. I want my money. But yeah, no, the only thing that's going to sicken me is if a bunch of people who don't really think much of Brock Purdy watch him operate in the next, let's say, month and are suddenly like, I kind of really liked him in camp. And I really thought, we get into this revision. I thought he had a shot. I just didn't think he would, shut up, just shut up.
I was so Larry at the beginning of the stream, we played one of our interviews that we did with him just to stall. And I was saying how, the way the locker room worked, it's like everyone, there was no chance. Corners. Yeah, there was no chance of getting to Jimmy G, no chance of getting to Trey Lance. But guess what? We like Brock Purdy. So we went up to Brock Purdy, and we were in on Brock Purdy before everyone else was in on Brock Purdy, specifically, actually, mostly just Larry. But I was filming.
So the NFL rules of getting a guy
I thought you were going to play it. I thought you were firing away.
We did.
No,
we played
we were all in Brock Purdy's. I actually, I feel like there was a time in the mini camp where I'm watching this guy and I'm thinking to myself, what am I really looking at here? This guy, the ball's coming out on time. He's hitting everybody in stride. He's got command of every drill. He never looked awkward, never had a coach sound him out on the field. He looked like a veteran player. And then you look at his build and you're like, well, he's got kind of short legs, but they're kind of thick. He's got kind of thick, short legs. And then he's got very quiet feet and the ball comes out on time. And, it's not like other jobs. Other jobs, like if you don't know what you're doing at your job, you could probably, just get there a little early. And that right there in and of itself would win you some brownie points. There's no such thing in the NFL. You can't just be like, well, you know what? I'll just throw it early to Debo because I don't want to be late. No, the ball has to come out on time. And there's so many factors that go into your recognition, the play, the defense, your receiver, his break point, what he's expecting, how the thing is schemed up. Not to mention the pass rush and how much time you have in front of you before the whole thing caves in.
Whoa.
There's a lot of factors, man. There's a lot of factors.
Is this who I think it is in the stream tonight?
Lee Gowland in the house.
Lee Gowland.
Hey, Larry, well done on the game prediction, buddy. Thank you, Lee. Lee from the UK with the chains.
Hey, I did say they'd be in the 30s. I said they'd be in the 30s.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Danny.
All right, Dan, you get some credit.
You get some credit.
I think
nobody puts Danny in the corner.
What'd you put? 2017? What was your prediction? 24-20, something like that?
I think I predicted 24-20.
I think I said 23-17.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was 23-17 at one point.
Yes. Winner, chicken dinner, Larry K.
The game just refused to end at that point. No, but I mean, overall, I'm just saying about Purdy. I think the ball, what he's got, they can't teach. He's got it between the ears. He's very accurate. He comes from an athletic family. He's played a lot of football. You're not going to surprise him. The camera that shows the close-up of the quarterback's face kind of gives you a little peek into the soul, or at least the immediate frame of mind of the quarterback. And when you're watching Aaron Rodgers, he's like bored out there. He's like, yeah, you go over here. He looks like he's almost going to take a nap. And if you remember watching Kaepernick when he was with the Niners and several other young quarterbacks, they look like they're under such stress, from under center. Everything's going a million miles an hour, and they haven't factored in every factor. Veteran quarterbacks are calm, and they see it. Brock Purdy's played a lot of football, so even though he's a rookie, in some ways, he's an ideal rookie to be a backup quarterback because he's played a lot of ball. So he's seen a lot of coverage. And I bet you anything, if you talk to Brian Greasy, if we had him here, or if we had Trey Lance here, if we had Jimmy here, I bet you anything they would tell you that Brock, when you get into film study, actually is more like a veteran than a rookie in how he sees the game, because he's made a bunch of starts. I think the guy made 48 college starts. He's got 83 collegiate touchdowns and like 33 picks. So, this is an accomplished player who led Iowa State to great heights. And now he's getting his opportunity. And I'll tell you the other thing that I think people need to just let it die. It's insulting to keep talking about Mr. Irrelevant. This guy was, I guarantee you he was like all world in the state of Arizona in high school. It's like one of the greatest high school quarterbacks of all time. Then he goes to Iowa State. He's a 4-year starter in the Big 12. He was like 3rd in the nation his senior year in completion percentage. We're talking about a kid who completed 72% of his passes in the college game. So, yeah, should he have gone in the 4th or 5th round where the Niners had him pegged? Yeah, instead of the 6th or 7th round. He wound up going last pick in the draft. But, I mean, the guy's got pride. I'm not saying it bothers him because it doesn't, but it's embarrassing. And it's just all the questions about – and at the end of the day, let's be honest, that whole thing's meant to put people down. That Mr. Irrelevant is there to you are Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, it's one thing if the guy truly was irrelevant, but when you're talking about one of the great high school quarterbacks in the history of the state of Arizona and a guy who did it at a big-time power conference and was as accomplished as he's been, I don't know, to emphasize how the NFL screwed up and, just because he was a little smaller, they should have taken him in the 4th or 5th, but instead he went in the 7th with the last pick. I don't know. It seems to me there's something weird about it. There's something insulting about it.
Counterpoint, I would rather be Mr.
See him answer questions about it. He looks a little awkward too. He looks a little like, you know what? I'm tired of this freaking question.
But Larry, if you this is my only counterpoint. Wouldn't you prefer to be Mr. Irrelevant than like the second to last pick in the draft? Because then no one knows who you are. No one knows your name.
I'd rather be the next pick. I'd rather be the next pick I'd rather be the first non-pick so I could go negotiate some deal with.
Yeah. But if you're the second to the last pick versus kind of the last pick, the second to last pick is truly Mr. Irrelevant because Mr. Irrelevant it's an oxymoron because you're making a big deal out of him. So,
exactly.
Hey, listen to this. I was looking at the practice squad QBs of all the teams. The Niners had Matt Barkley, and Josh Rosen in camp at one point. They must be pretty low on them because for them not to pull them who already knows their system, Kyle's system somewhat, and they didn't take him. Interesting because the rules are if you pick somebody off the practice squad, you have to do it 6 days prior to a game. So that's why they did it tonight. And they have to be up on the 53-man roster. So
there you go.
So I'm just surprised that they went with this Josh Johnson. I mean, Kyle must local.
He's local. He can be here quickly. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Something about him. I mean,
they've had Denny. I think this is his 4th stint with the team.
Oh, is it?
The Niners have had him 2 or 3 other times. They're really familiar with Josh.
So they like him more than Barkley and Josh Rosen, obviously. Then
I just don't think that. I think it might be about proximity. The fact that he's local.
I think you got to pick a guy.
He's probably been
Larry,
working out.
I think you got to pick a guy that you assume he's going to play because you
Danny,
can't just.
If you get to your 4th quarterback, you're done.
I don't think so. Not with this defense. I really don't. There's too many weapons. If you did it 3 years ago,
we're not talking about the backup. We're talking about the 4th.
I know, but you got weapons, Larry. You got weapons. You got Debo. You got Ayuk,
nobody in the history of the NFL's ever won a playoff game with a 4th-string quarterback, have they?
Well, not too many people. This team really just needs to try and put up.
I hear you, but at
17 to 20 points.
At some point, it ends. I think it ends when they lose Purdy.
Well, let's hope they don't lose him. Let's hope.
Well, that would be my only concern with Purdy is that does he try to be, he's such a tough guy that, does he take hits? Does he take hits? Because he really is in a different spot now than he was early in the year. Early in the year, it's like, hey, make a play, do what you got to do to make a play. If you get hurt, you get hurt. Heck, compete, right? Now, you know what? The season is hanging by a thread, and you're the key to it. So, get rid of the ball and go on to play the next down and think self-preservation. Hutch Serves Gaming donates $4.99. He says, can we talk about how the Niners need to start heavily investing in their O-line? Too many quarterback injuries over the years that has cost the 49ers. I think they've already done it. They've already done it.
Yeah.
Look at this year. I mean, they brought in Zakel, they brought in Burford, they brought in Banks, they promoted Brendel. They've got a lot of young offensive linemen on their right now. Jalen Moore, they like his future. So I think you're right. I think they're going to continue to do it, Hutch. You're going to see them continue to invest on that offensive line, especially, because guys go down and you need quality depth. But I think last year they were really, really, really thin on the offensive line. And amazingly, they plugged in Tom Compton and Daniel Brunskill on the right side and rode it to the NFC Championship game. If any of those guys had gone down, the guys they would have gone to a year ago were really not on the level of their backups this year. Their backups this year are future NFL starters. They're just young. But Chris Forster is a great coach, and hopefully he's brought some of these guys along, like Nick Zakel, the rookie from Fordham. I think there's a lot of people that believe that Nick Zakel is going to be a starting NFL, maybe center, maybe guard, maybe as soon as next year. So same with Jalen Moore. I think Jalen Moore is going to be a starting NFL player at some point. And both these guys are on their bench right now. So I think the kind of the turning over of the Niner O-line has already begun. Ian says Rosen is god-awful. It just hasn't worked for Rosen. Isn't it amazing? Because he has such a great arm, at UCLA. Tony says Larry did call Hufanga. Thank you. Lee Gallon says, Larry, well done on the game prediction. Thank you, Lee. It was a pleasure meeting you. Danny, we met Lee and his buddy, and they had the gold chain. Have you seen the gold chains that they sell?
I have not. No.
Oh, they're gaudy. It's a gaudy gold chain. And Lee and his buddies had them on. It was great.
Well, that's awesome.
Let's see what else. Bomber T says Purdy is the same size as Aaron Rodgers. And that's the one thing. It's amazing how we group these guys based on so little. It's like Purdy's undersized. Well, was Steve Young undersized? Was Drew Brees undersized? Is Russell Wilson undersized? Is Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is like 6'2" and change. I think Purdy's like 6'1" and change. They're both like 225 pounds. So is 1 inch in height that significant that it would mark a player down? I mean, think about that. Purdy did it in a big conference and put up, terrific numbers. And as I said, completed 72% of his passes. His final year there, he doesn't go till the 7th round just because he's 6'1" and not 6'2". I mean, doesn't that seem like a very stringent? It's one thing to have size preferences, but it's another thing to just say, you know what? Oh, you're not 6'2". We don't care. We're no longer really even scouting you anymore. Great quarterbacks come in all different sizes. So.
I agree with that. I will say he does seem like, maybe just because he pads off in the locker room, he does seem like kind of smaller. Like maybe 6 foot.
Yeah, he's 6 foot and change is what he is. Where maybe Steve Young was 6'1". Maybe Aaron Rodgers was 6'1" and change, 6'2". But we're talking about an inch or two.
Well, what was Drew Brees? 6 foot, 6'1"?
Oh, he's probably
right
5'11", but
6 feet, 6'1", I think, there. But Russell Wilson was 5'11".
Yeah, Brees was very, very small as far as height wise. Yeah, and
Flutie was small, but Flutie had a rocket.
Part of it is Phillip Rivers been out of the game 1 year or 2 years.
Oh, stop it, Dan.
Danny,
I'm seeing people talk about that one.
Phillip Rivers?
He's got 19
Old man Rivers? You're bringing him out of retirement?
I'm just saying people are
people are
whatever.
saying.
People are seeing it all out there.
Bomber T says they blitzed his ass all day and he still made plays.
Facts.
I don't know. I didn't get to count, but it seemed like as soon as Purdy came in, that Van Ginkel linebacker was just flying off the edge of blitzes.
Exactly.
Delayed blitzes. It seemed like Van Ginkel was coming at the quarterback more times than not.
We got a $10 donation from Calba here.
Anybody know how serious Ridgeway's pec injury is? Not sure how many snaps Armstead played, but I imagine he'll be on a pitch count the rest of the season. Interior D-line is too thin. All I got to say is, when a guy grabs at the pec that severely, and I guess it could be pulled. My guess is it's probably torn. And if it's torn, you can't play. Right. That's it.
I thought the murmurings were in the press box that it was torn.
That'd be a tough break for Ridgeway. Ridgeway's a good guy.
Good.
We talked to him a couple times this year. He's actually a Bay Area kid. I didn't realize that. Hassan Ridgeway's from the Bay. And so coming back to the Niners in free agency, from Philadelphia, this was somewhat of a homecoming for him. And he's loving it, man. He's bouncing around the locker room. His locker's right next to Jimmy G's. And, he's always got a big smile on his face and a big plate of food, by the way. I mean, Hassan Ridgeway, I mean, whatever, when it's lunchtime, he gets his fair share. There's no question about it.
Yeah. Ridgeway is he's so surprisingly smiley and kind. So,
oh yeah. Really nice guy, except when he's playing football and then he's killing people.
Monster.
But yeah, they're going to miss him because he's played at a really high level. Let's see. We got this one. Mr. NorCal, Purdy and Jimmy G, the best backup quarterback in NFL history.
Well, here's one for you.
Steve Young.
Well, okay. I have no idea if this is true or not.
Steve
but
Young and Aaron Rodgers.
Has there ever been a third string quarterback that goes on to win the Super Bowl?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
There's been backups,
Jeff Hostetler won the Super Bowl in 90 as the quarterback of the Giants.
He was
coming off the bench for Phil Simms. He was the backup.
I think Earl Morrow was.
Kurt Warner was the only one.
He was the number.
Oh wait, no.
2. Trent Green was number 1, and then I think, or maybe Brunell was number 2. Maybe Warner was number 3. That might be close, but he didn't win. They lost.
Yeah, he did. He won his first year.
Oh, he won with the Rams. I'm thinking Warner with the Cardinals. He lost to the Steelers.
That was the movie that was based on that movie, and I can't remember if he was the third. I think he might have been third because Trent Green went down.
He might have been third. Well, I know he was in a deep quarterback room in Green Bay, but I don't know about with the Rams initially. I know Trent Green went out. Trent Green went out for the year. I think he got hit by Robert Geathers, and that was it.
I don't see any third stringers. They're not even in
someone says Alex Smith or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Jesus,
good
Christ.
Options. Alex Smith. Alex Smith would be interesting.
Good option for the booth, maybe. Smith, man, I would feel scared just watching him.
I know, I would too, but what a story that would be.
Hey,
Alex Smith came out of retirement and led this Niner team to a Super Bowl.
Oh,
they would make a Disney special about that.
And then just give him a 5-year deal.
Give him a piece of the team.
Yeah.
Seriously.
How long's no, Smith couldn't do that.
That'd be awesome.
Dan, you just thought about it for a second, realistically.
But it would be kind of cool if
what if they brought in Smith and Cap for workouts next week?
If they only had to win a couple of games, like one game or 2 games. Hey, right now, realistically, they have.
It won't be a distraction.
They have 5 games left, right? In the regular season.
I'm only seeing 4 fingers there.
I want Tebow.
They're 8-4.
8-4.
12. So they got 5 games left.
Right.
If they win Seattle game and 2 others, they win the division. So
I think Seattle might be the toughest game left, just in terms of, that game's going to mean a lot. All of a sudden, the Seattle 12s are going to start thinking that they have a chance at the division because Brock Purdy's the quarterback. That place is going to be freaking rocking.
Right.
That is going to be a tough environment for the kid.
So, dang, the Rams didn't help us out today. I thought they had it. They were up by on the last minute, and Seattle scored. Who does Seattle have next week? Because next week's the key, because it's a short game. They play on Thursday night, the 49ers and Seahawks on the 15th. Let me look at Seattle.
As far as the Niners schedule going forward with Purdy, so you get Brady this week. And Tampa's going to play that game without Tristan Wirfs. And their O-line was banged up before they got Wirfs. I'm expecting, by the way, New Orleans. I'm betting New Orleans in the under on Monday Night Football.
Yes.
And I'm expecting New Orleans defense to slow down Tom Brady. But with no Wirfs, and you got 45-year-old Tom Brady against Bosa and Drake and Ebukam and Jordan Willis and Amenahue and all the DNs the Niners have, I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady in that game. Then they get Seattle in Seattle. I think the toughest game on the schedule is December 24th. It's Christmas Eve day. You got the holiday looming, and you got the Washington Commanders coming in, and they've got, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen inside, Montez Sweat, Chase Young outside.
You might want to start Josh. You might want to start Josh Johnson that game just to make him the sacrificial.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. And that, you're looking ahead to the holiday.
Imagine
Purdy out there against those guys.
I'm not as worried about the Raiders, and I'm not worried about Arizona. I think
I'm a little butthurt
shape.
About that Washington game already. Just it's on Christmas Eve. How dare they? NFL.
Christmas Eve day.
Christmas Eve day. Yeah.
Yeah,
look
so
at
it's a 105 start.
Going into that Seattle game.
Are we going to do post-game, Ryan, on Christmas Eve?
Fuck, we can't do it.
Levi's? Nothing says Christmas Eve.
It's like also what? It's also
those chicken nuggets in the press box.
Guess what?
Game.
It's also my girlfriend's birthday, and she's Jewish, so it's already like not a holiday for her. It's just her birthday, so I got to do double duty, and I'm going to a football game. No chance for post.
Nothing says I'm looking around for better
options. No post game on Christmas Eve. Man, the Niners, they got Tampa Bay next week, and Seattle gets Justin's great team.
Wait, do you think that Tom Brady is going to?
Who do they get?
They get Justin's great team. That means it's a layup.
Who is it?
They get Carolina.
Where is it?
It's in Seattle. I'm picking on Justin's great team.
Shots fired
at Justin's
hold on a second.
great
Seth
team.
Harvey donates $2. He said also a rookie has never won a Super Bowl.
I thought Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie.
This one's bad. Randall Riley sounds like Larry is saying Purdy is pretty good. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Are we thinking Tom Brady doesn't want to be too mean to the team next week because he's auditioning, or do you think it's more like I want to put this kid in his place so that I can audition? And
that's a great question.
Either way,
here's another question: if the Niners ran the table and won it all, who's your starting quarterback next year?
No, we're going to start that already.
No, I mean, I think we got to put it. I think we have to have this discussion.
What about
before? I think we need to lay down the parameters of what we're really looking at right now.
Okay.
Next year, it could be Jimmy G if you wanted to bring him back. There was already rumors in the last week that they would like to maybe bring him back. There's Trey Lance. Obviously, you invested a lot to get him. There's rumors that Tom Brady wants to finish it with the 49ers. You will then have had an extended run with Brock Purdy, also on his rookie deal. What are you doing?
Okay, what about if for this hypothetical, Trey Lance is activated for the Super Bowl, just in case, because it is the Super Bowl, and and Purdy plays fine the whole game, and they're down 6, and they're on the 3-yard line, and all of a sudden Purdy's injured, can't get back in the game. They activate, put in Lance. Lance throws the game-winning touchdown.
Runs it in.
No, that's too murky. Too murky. Too many factors. You saw Lance, you've seen Jimmy, good and bad. And if Purdy goes on this run with this team, who's the starting quarterback?
Let's talk
I said it 5 weeks ago, right? Danny, 18. I said it 5-6 weeks ago to you guys. I said, whoever wins the Super Bowl and is standing there in the winner's circle when this team gets the 6th Lombardi will be the Niners starting quarterback next year.
Brian Greasy. Oh wait, sorry.
Seth Harvey says, "Here's $2, Larry. What do you make of Kyle's answer on Lance?" He said he can't. In other words, like the doctors have told him that it's not in Lance's best interest to come back. That's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like Kyle was referencing that he's been told by his medical people that Lance is a non-starter as playing even any more time at all this year, regardless of their time frame. And so that's the decision they've made, and they're sticking to it.
Wait, I like this comment. Or alternatively, COVID could work in place of a meteor. Hits Arizona, delaying the Super Bowl until May, where Jimmy G comes back. It's like the Lakers the year when they won the bubble title because Davis.
Sure, we pull all kinds of shenanigans here in Maricopa County.
Who's it going to be, guys? Who's going to be the quarterback if Brock ran the table? Would it be Brock?
Depends on how he looks.
He runs the table.
Let's say that, but the defense.
Is there a way? Let me ask you this:
game.
Is there a way that Brock Purdy could run the table?
Yes.
And not look good?
Yes.
Are the 49ers that good of a team? I don't think so.
Well, like they could get a bunch of turnovers maybe in the play. They could just get
That's
hot.
what I'm saying. Do you really think the 49ers are a good enough team where they could do this and have Brock play poorly? I think it's almost guaranteed that Brock's going to have to play well for them to do
You're
this.
right. And he'll at least have to play clean.
Yeah. Let's just say he's game manager.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular, but doesn't turn it over.
That's
ball comes out on time. It all becomes, instead of it being about the quarterback, it really becomes about the weapons and the defense. And they get it done. They run the table. That means they beat Tampa, at Seattle, Washington, at Raiders, Arizona, and then win, 2 games in the playoffs to wind up in the conference championship? Is that right? Or 1?
Yeah, 2.
2.
What's that?
2. How many playoff games would they have to win potentially to wind up in the NFC championship game?
1 or 2? They have to win 2 to get to the championship.
So like what? The first game they play, I don't know,
they could win the division. They don't have to be the wild card.
Yeah, no, they'll be the 3 seed.
They would play 6. Stupid new set schedule. Only the 1 seed gets a bye.
3 would play 6, and 6 today is who? Washington, or is it?
It's probably
Giants?
Washington. Oh yeah, that would be sweet. Heineke v. Because I think Heineke is kind of if you were to tell me, like, I get that's kind of what I'm thinking with Purdy. I'm feeling very Heineke vibes.
I'm not real.
The Commanders are playing good ball for Heineke right now.
They're 7-1. I mean, think about this: if they went 7-1 to start the season and they beat the Eagles and all these Packers and Heineke's all clutch, we're all thinking of them as like this pretty damn good team at this point. Instead, now we're like, even the Giants, I still give the benefit of the doubt because they started hot, but the commies are coming on hot.
How about this one, Bomber T? Purdy looks better than Zach Wilson right now.
Hell yeah.
What concerns me though is Seattle has 5 games left as well, but 4 are in Seattle. So they only have 1 road game, which is fortunately it's at KC. So that's a tough one, but they've got Carolina and then the Niners and then Kansas City. And then they're home in week 17 to the Jets. That's not an easy game, because the Jets will be playing for something. And then the final game, they play the Rams at home. That's an easy one. So if they beat the Niners and they beat Carolina, which I would expect them to do, they could be in the driver's seat because, it's dang. So
Tony Nagatani says, here's $4.99. Dudes, Dilfer won a Super Bowl and the Ravens made a quarterback change to Gerback, right? Was it Gerback that they went to?
I don't know. It was before my time.
After Trent Dilfer?
Elvis, what was that?
I mean, first of all, the 2000 Ravens were stacked.
Unreal.
Unbelievable defense.
They're that
and
one.
And Dilfer was terrible. He wasn't. Jimmy G's way better than Dilfer. All the Niner quarterbacks are better than Dilfer was that year.
Shots fired.
I mean, Dilfer was bad.
Yeah, I agree. So what's funny is I think
the offense moved backwards most of the year.
Yeah. I think that the Bears, the 85 Bears for your generation is like Godfather. And then
definitely. You can't beat the 85 Bears.
No, but I think that the 2000 Ravens are like good fellas. Like I think that they've aged very nicely.
I don't know, because you know what? John Lynch might claim the 2002 Buccaneers are better than the 2000 Ravens.
I compare remember earlier in the year when I compared the Niners defense before the season, I said this could be like the Bucs 2002.
I do remember that.
And
didn't they not make the playoffs the next year?
I don't care what happens next year. This year,
I know it'd be perfect.
I mean, this defense is unbelievable. It's so fast, and what's nice is seeing Jimmy Ward getting healthy and playing it.
Play that interview as well, by the way.
I mean,
We got this one from Tom
today.
P. He says, Ryan has a sexy voice tonight.
Gee.
It's actually kind of disturbing.
That is disturbing. Also, that name is so hard to say. Tob Pay.
Can we come up with a new nickname? Maybe,
Topi.
Just anything
Tope.
but anything that's, legible.
Toupee.
The B is just not supposed to exist in front of a P.
Someone
Imagine
says
if you
Dan
named your kid
believes. Dan believes. Oh, same guy. Todd P. or Tob P.
Todd P's got range.
Yes.
Hey, I think they can. I think they can go far
Jaguar.
with Purdy just because he's got all he's got to do is manage the offense. See, this team's different because of McCaffrey. If you don't have McCaffrey, I'd say no shot, no chance at all if McCaffrey's not on this team because.
What a great addition, huh? Now with McCaffrey, you got a shot. You got a shot.
All these people are saying, "Oh, we don't need running back." He's not just a running back. He's such a weapon.
We actually did an interview the day before McCaffrey was traded here with a media guy, and we're like, "Hey, what do you think of the McCaffrey rumors?" They don't need, unnamed media guy. They don't need another running back.
Yeah.
Larry, you love Purdy from the day of the draft. He played well today, especially when the Dolphin lineman came and hit him as he let it go.
That was
Kittle
sweet.
caught a great pass. Purdy to Kittle was spectacular.
You know what? I want to see that again. I'm going to send that to Rye. That was such a beautiful
You realize
pass.
there's such things as highlights?
Yeah, I know. I don't have the highlight. My highlights is my phone. But
Todd says Purdy goes down, we're done. Yeah, well, I mean, there's no question. Come on. I mean, Danny was saying who comes next. It's just like, it's like Brandon Crawford's out, Tyro Estrada's out, Dixon Machado is out. What do the Giants do at shortstop? They don't.
I think at that point their best chance is to run.
Go get Vosler.
Wild. No. To
go with Juszczyk at the
McCaffrey or Juszczyk at court. Yeah. And just say,
why not just start snapping it to Danny Gray directly or Jordan Mason directly? How good, by the way, how powerful did Jordan Mason look? And by the way,
another one,
whatever those designed runs were, call them again. I've never seen bigger holes. You could have parked an 18-wheeler in the holes that Jordan Mason ran through today.
Well, I saw some people online that were tweeting, "What are you doing, Kyle? Run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle." And I'm like, he's setting it up for later down the road for, the defense is going to stack the middle and he's going to open it up and start going a little wider or dumping it to McCaffrey. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
Brian, I just sent you that, put that up and let's watch this play because it was,
CTC Reels mentions, man,
play.
They controlled the clock this game. I was really impressed. 2-1, 40 minutes for the Niners, time of possession to 19 minutes for Miami.
If they continue to do that, you keep that defense fresh, people are going to have a tough time scoring because Miami is a team that can score, as we saw today, in, like lightning, man. Their 2 touchdowns were like, boom, first play of the game.
Wait. What were they?
Like, boom.
They were there. Those touchdowns, they were like, boom.
Boom. Kaplow.
Randall Riley, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. That's Foles.
True. Nick the Dick, Big Dick Nick and Big Cock Brock.
Oh,
gosh.
Great. I'm sure if your parents are watching, I'm sure they're proud.
Well, just echoing what I've heard.
Yeah. And where did you hear that?
I actually heard that in the locker room. They actually were chanting that a little bit in the locker room.
Glass half full guy. Right. Oh, wait a second. Glass half. Can we?
Yeah.
It says, would Dan do Aaron Judge's financials if he signs here? I'm hoping for a big winter meetings from the Giants. $4.99 glass half full guy.
I won't do him if he signs, but if he sighs, I will.
Mr. NorCal. Irony, Brock Purdy facing Tom Brady for his first NFL start.
That's great.
Seriously. Hey, no, seriously. If Brock Purdy wins this game, he could be in the same year that he's Mr. Irrelevant, he could beat the great Tom Brady in his first NFL start. I mean, that's lore. In some ways, guys, that's lore.
Wait,
if people want to say, oh, I mean, how many times you talk to an old Giants fan, you'd be like, Willie McCovey, man, he broke in 4 for 5 against Robin Roberts with a,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like famous.
Will Clark, Nolan Ryan.
Will Clark, Nolan Ryan, dead center, astronaut.
And look at those two guys' careers. They went on to be McCovey's a Hall of Famer, and after today's
makes you think Purdy might be a player of significance if he beat Tom Brady in his first NFL start.
If we want to get into the fan fiction of it all, couldn't you kind of think about like the succession line of the Tom Brady succession line is like Tom Brady to Jimmy G and maybe now to Brock Purdy. He's like Tom Brady's grandchild.
What if next year the Niner quarterbacks are Tom Brady and Brock Purdy
and Jimmy G
and they trade Trey Lance?
That'd be,
oof. I mean, you want to recoup the picks you traded for Trey Lance.
All right, let's take a look at this beautiful pass from Brock Purdy to George Kittle. This was a key play. This was third down, I believe, too.
So much moxie on that throw.
I mean, he had the guy bearing down on him, and he that's what I'm saying. The guy, he's got a little specialness to him. That was Jalen Phillips. That was the Miami
his attitude.
Kid. By the way, the Jalen Phillips the play that got Jimmy hurt. Jalen Phillips left knee, absolutely randomly shot down into the ground and landed right on the base of Jimmy's foot and ankle. I mean, he could not have aimed better if he had tried. His left knee just went firing down into the ground, and it just happened to land right there at the pressure point, and that's
the fact that he's having surgery tomorrow must be not just a broken bone, but a torn ligaments or something in there.
Wait. We have to acknowledge this. Todd Pay added an accent mark above the E.
What is that? Pay?
Yeah, he just changed it. He just added an accent mark to make it more confusing.
Top pay.
Rich says, I was looking forward to Jimmy against Tom this week.
I know. Yeah, that would have been. What the hell?
Jeez.
So tough. We'll get this one. Mike McCarthy said today the Dallas Cowboys are the most dangerous team in the NFC. That's a joke.
They did hang a 50 burger.
They are scoring at a crazy rate. What did the Cowboys score tonight?
53.
They've got weapons. When you got Pollard and you got Zeke, Pollard, and then you got Lamb and
Pollard's incredible, by the way.
Yeah. And
that's one of those things that makes you feel smart as like a fan.
54-19.
They had like 27 in the fourth.
Say that again about Pollard. What you're saying makes you feel smart.
It's one of those things that makes you feel smart as like a guy who plays fantasy, and you're like, they give Pollard 10 touches and he looks way better than Zeke. Why don't they do that? And then with the Zeke injury and they were forced to actually play Pollard more. He's incredible.
He's a good player for sure. He's a little bit, and I don't know if he could take the pounding for a 17-game schedule.
No, but he can play receiver.
Today, 7.6 a carry, 2 touchdowns, 12 carries, 91 yards for Pollard, 17 carries, 77 yards, and
23.6 points, man. Fantasy today. Who has him?
The coach dog.
Who has him? Oh, I do.
Look at you.
Seven
hits.
In another
Dallas
trade.
put 7 hits on the quarterback today. You know who's kind of a really good interior rusher, and I can't even pronounce his name. Osa Odighizuzu Zua, the guy from UCLA. He's about 300 pounds. He had 2 hits on the quarterback today. He had a sack. He had 5 tackles, 3 solo. He's a nice player. I mean, Dallas has done a nice job drafting defensive players the last few years.
They really have.
And then they've got all these weapons too. So Dak was 20 of 30. He threw for 170 and Dallas won 54-19.
They need a big pick.
They ran for 220.
Did you see Odell is visiting them tomorrow? I kept mentioning it on the broadcast.
Is visiting who? Dallas?
I mean, that'll help. That'll help them.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, man. He would be a great third.
There was a lot of talk that Jonathan Taylor was going to rumble for 150 today against Dallas's run D. They kept him in check. 21 carries, 82 yards, 3.9 a carry.
Can we talk about how frightening Philly looked today? I mean, they
Brown.
all they've been doing is struggling with running with stopping the run game. They're getting gashed, and then they just all of a sudden Big Jordan Davis is back, and they hold Derrick Henry to nothing.
Weirdly, though, they couldn't run it worth a damn at the Titans. They had 24
threw the
carries.
hell out of the
24 carries, 2.8 a carry for Philly, but Jalen Hurts threw for 380. Huge day for both Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
And
A.J.
even
Brown,
though they
big
didn't
day.
have
3
Dallas
TDs.
Goedert, they still won. And guess who led the Eagles in tackles today?
Oh, what?
Sue?
Kobe Dean.
Kobe Dean.
Fucking what the hell? That's another one, Larry. That's another one that makes you feel smart for someone that watched college football. You're like, why isn't that guy getting drafted higher?
I know.
It's like, oh no.
Not only that, Hassan Reddick had 4 of their 9 hits on the quarterback. I mean, they won today without let me turn that out. Without Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yep.
So yeah, that was
now. How does the Vikings
we talked
continue
about
to
this Friday. Damon and Ratto have this thing on their show on 95.7 The Game where they fade the public, and basically the producer just finds the team that the public is betting the most during the week, and then they just go the other way. And this week it was Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it was Eagles -4. They won 35-10.
Wow.
So I mean, that's
it's
another example.
unbelievable with the I just forgot what I was saying.
You were going to say the Vikings shouldn't.
Oh yeah, Vikings. How do they win every stinking game in the last? It goes down to the last play or two of almost every game, and they've come out on top just almost every time.
You see, Mike White threw 57 times.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I'm a little worried about like the Mike White, Purdy sort of similarities.
57 times.
I mean, that's
Garrett Wilson had 8 catches for 162.
Well, to me, what is amazing to me is the fact that Purdy today threw 37 times.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you a little bit, though. I mean, look what they did in the playoffs with Jimmy in 2019. What did he throw? 8, 10 times against the Vikings? He let Brock Purdy in his first NFL real game. I mean, Kansas City game was just mopped.
Not only that, he let him throw it on third and
That's what I mean. 37 times.
What was that play? Was it 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 where Purdy went on the bootleg and picked up the first down on a 3-yard pass? I mean, and he operated the bootleg play fake. The one thing about Purdy that's really veteran-like are the ball fakes. I mean,
yes, the fact that he is more
carry out the ball fakes.
You can actually do a little bit more in terms of play design with Purdy than you can with Jimmy because of his mobility. I mean, just teach him when he's getting chased and nobody's open to throw it away because, I mean, a couple times it looked like he was going to take a 20, 30-yard sack. I mean, he was running.
Well, there was that play in the second quarter where it was 3rd and 10 from the 45, and Purdy, escaped the Miami rush right off the initial snap and connected with Ayuk for 6 yards to set up 4th and 4. And then Shanahan decided to go for it. It was 4th and 4 from the 39-yard line of the Dolphins, and that's when Purdy threw the pick. And I thought his pick
that was dope.
It essentially was almost like a punt. It's like, we're going to take a shot
went all the way down to the 21-yard line.
Ayuk against Xavier Howard, and we're going to give Ayuk a chance to make a play. And instead, Howard came away with the pick, but it was like a punt. So
it was a dumb play on Howard's part, though, because
poor awareness by Howard, but overall, it was sick that not only that Kyle trusted him 4th and 4 in that situation at midfield, but also the fact that Purdy said, I don't give a damn. I'm just going to freaking huck it up.
The problem with that play was I believe it was a blitz from the outside. Nobody picked him up. Had they picked him up, McCaffrey, if he had one more second, McCaffrey was wide open for a huge gain. And he didn't have time to throw it to him. I'll actually show it to you. I have it on, I'll send it to By the way,
Rye. Seth Harvey says, Larry, what'd you make of Kyle saying no to Grant Cohn in the postgame about Lance coming back? It sounded like the doctors have instructed Kyle that it's in Lance's best interest not to come back. So it didn't surprise me. I kind of felt like that decision was made officially, even though no official announcement was thrown out there.
Yeah.
I thought that we're down there a lot. Didn't you get the sense, Rye, that Lance coming back was not something they were considering even as recently as the last couple of weeks?
No, I think also part of it is probably just they just don't want him to have to even deal with that decision. They don't want to force him into that decision. And if he gets in a spot like that, even if he's not 100% and hasn't played football, it's just like you could do like irrevocable damage to his psyche. Seriously. So I think they just don't want it to even be a decision for the coach or for the player.
We'll get this one from Joey. He says, Joey Bag of Donuts, just play the Wildcat with the whole offense going forward. They don't need a quarterback. Just go with the Wildcat. Maybe Ronnie Brown's out there. They can find Ronnie Brown to be the Wildcat quarterback.
That would have been very, just a tribute to the Dolphins.
Yeah. There's that one play that was picked off. Ryan, I just sent it to you, by the way. When it was picked up, if they had a split second more, McCaffrey, oh man, he could have run. He would have been a 20-yard gain. There was nobody in the middle of the field. McCaffrey actually kind of faked like he was going to stay in and block.
Oh, he already made the decision.
And then there was it wasn't Purdy's fault. He didn't have a chance because of the rush. But
do we read this one, Larry? What do you make of Kyle's answer on Lance?
Yeah.
Seth Harvey.
I don't think you actually read that specific one, but you just answered that question.
Yeah, we just gave you that one. God, there's so many people in the chat tonight. We've got 544 people in the room. 49ers get a big win over the Miami Dolphins. And I got to be honest, watching that first play, guys, when I watched it from the upper deck, I thought, man, Hufanga took a bad angle and blew that coverage. When I watched the touchdown again, it was Tayshaun Gibson that took two bad steps and basically got pinned inside. And, that was enough for Sherfield to take it to the house. But to me, that was like the big question today. Who would dominate that intermediate middle of the field? And the Dolphins made several plays there, but I think for the most part, Warner and the Niner linebackers with the takeaways kind of controlled that middle of the field, that 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage to 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, that middle range between the numbers. That's where Miami had been operating. That's an area the Niners had dominated in the past with their linebacking speed. And I thought the 49ers, yes, Tua made some big plays in there, but I thought overall it was advantage Niners in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one guy we haven't talked about yet is Kyle Shanahan. Give the man his credit because he dominates his understudies. It's a little Belichickian, the way it pretty much, you see these like Sean McVay, like he just like breaks Sean McVay's brain, and this offense that's always humming just disappears. He's done it to LaFleur in big spots. And now Mike McDaniel, through the first time all year with Tua being healthy the whole game, their offense didn't look unstoppable. It looked honestly, it looked like it was lacking toughness because they couldn't get the run game going.
Austin donates $9.99 and says, I know it'll be a close game, but how do you guys feel facing Brady next week? This defense feels like world beaters with Armstead back. I think the Niner D-line should be able to overwhelm the Tampa offensive line in this game. Wirfs is their best lineman by far, and he will not go next week. So, he's got a high ankle sprain. I think this was the first week he missed. Those are almost always 4 to 6 week injuries. I can't imagine he's back. And so I think it's, Brady, the Dolphins get the ball out quick. Brady does not get the ball out quick.
No.
Tampa looks down the field. They have much more of a down the field passing attack. So I think the 49ers, I think Brady will adjust in this game. They will be getting it out quicker, but I think there's going to be ample opportunities to get in Tom's face and put hits on the quarterback. I think one of the things that I love about the Niners defense right now is that they've got outstanding depth at the defensive end spot, and it is allowing them to play a bunch of really interesting pass rush combinations. And then the group's been together, and they know each other really well, and they're working some really, really intricate games up front. And the combination of their depth, their talent, and the schemed games and stunts, they had a play today where, they wanted Bosa to just cross the quarterback's face to kind of give the illusion of pressure. And then Bosa beat his man so decisively that he was sitting into his lap. So it's those kinds of stunts that it's like they're effective if you don't get home, but if you do, it's a huge play for the defense. So I look forward to seeing what the Niners do against 45-year-old Tom Brady next week. I think the coverage has been pretty solid.
It's going to be
and the rush is going to be overwhelming.
It's going to be overwhelming, and if you start blitzing him, and if you can get good man coverage on there, who's their receivers? Godwin and
Evans,
Mike Evans. They're not. Mike Evans is
He's got great ball skills. He's a big guy, but he doesn't run away from anybody.
Exactly. He doesn't run away from it. He doesn't separate. Put Ward on him and blanket him.
Yeah, Ward actually I think that's the kind of receiver that Ward will do well with.
Yeah. And then Lenore's playing well. He played a good game.
Yeah. Lenore's playing really well. Lenore almost had a pick early in this game. That what was it? Was the first quarter.
And then
Lenore
he did
jump that route on the sidelines. He was one step away. That ball was low and away, but Lenore almost picked that thing off and took it to the house.
He got one though, also, I think. And mean, talk about a guy. If you were to say like, what is the biggest difference between the Kansas City game and now? It might be the improvement in Lenore. Seriously, like he other than like getting Armstead back and kind of the D line going nutso. Lenore's just playing some solid freaking cornerback.
Yeah.
Seth Harvey donates $2. He says, also a rookie has never won.
I thought Roethlisberger, no?
Not as a rookie.
Not as a rookie. Year two.
Marino got there year two, but lost to the Niners.
But Purdy's a grandpa.
No, he got back one more year in the.
Marino never got back again.
He never got.
Tony Nagatani donates $4.99. Says, dude, Dilfer won a Super Bowl and the Ravens made a quarterback change to Gerber.
Larry, I think you're a little far back. You're like,
am I way deep now? I thought that was at the bottom.
We're all caught up actually.
Are we all caught up?
Yeah.
But back to Tampa. I think that they found something a little bit with that running back, whatever his face. They're actually starting
Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad White instead of 300-pound Leonard Fournette. White's been actually pretty good for them and kind of has opened things up. But this Niners defense, it just seems like with Armstead, without Armstead, you don't run on this Niners defense. It's been a while since anybody has really ran on this Niners defense. And so I think you force it into a drop back pass game with Brady and he's not on the same page with those weapons and the Niners are just teeing off, could get ugly.
Kevin F says, can the 49ers beat the Bills or the Chiefs? Sure. Well, the beautiful part is they're only going to have to beat one of them. I think they can beat the Bills. I don't know that they can beat the Chiefs.
Might not matter.
You guys think they can beat the Chiefs?
Well, it might not matter. I would bet against the Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl, but they probably are the favorite.
Cincinnati's coming on. They beat the Chiefs today, and they're
Cincinnati's doing exactly what they did last year. The Niners were on their way to doing exactly what they did last year. So I kind of like jumping on the Bengals right now.
I almost took Kansas City in that game against the Bengals. I went with a three-teamer today. I went Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. Cowboys, Baltimore, and
sweaty game.
Yeah, which Baltimore won 10-9 on the last, and Cleveland.
Yeah,
Houston's bad, man. Houston's really bad, and the spread was not that big. So, I hit the three-teamer today, but I tell you, man, I was really close to taking Kansas City. I just figured Mahomes would care. The rematch AFC Championship game, that they would really fire, and that Kansas City, if they fire, they're going to beat almost anybody. But no,
It's going to be hard to get that image of the Niner game out of our heads going forward with the Chiefs because they just look so unstoppable.
I know, against the Niners.
Yeah.
Chiefs are riding Isaiah Pacheco heavy.
I know.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase came back today and
Yep.
led the way. He had 7 catches for 97 yards. Burrow's a stud, man.
He's a fucking
25
stud.
of 31 for 286 and 2 touchdowns.
So
and
tough.
Kansas City only sacked him 1 time. That was probably the key right there. I thought Kansas City's defensive front would have 5-6 sacks of Burrow. Only 1 sack on the day of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I love Joe Burrow. Man, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He is kind of like with Herbert. It's like, dude, that franchise was dog ass before Burrow got there. And I still don't even think their coach is good. Their D coordinator is. I don't even think their coach is good. And it's just like, they're just going to win games because he's such a freaking stud and just calms that whole team down.
Giants and Commanders tied.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the Giants
tied in overtime. I mean, that's really bad. That's really bad. Let me ask you guys one question about Baltimore, since I mentioned that I bet them today. Lamar started. Huntley came in off the bench. I didn't realize this when I was looking at the scores. 27 of 32 for Tyler Huntley, though. 27 of 32.
He's good.
That's pretty good.
He's always
had
good.
1 interception. He also had 10 carries, 41 yards.
Yeah, he's
I like
great.
Tyler Huntley at Utah, but he outplayed Russell Wilson today.
Yeah.
But what do you make of Baltimore as a Super Bowl contender? Because there's something about them that, I mean, why are they struggling life and death at home to beat the Denver Broncos, who have 1 road win all year? I mean, that to me,
I think they're starting to, they were ascending a few weeks ago and now they're on the descent because they lost last week, got upset. And then
the
today
thing is,
they
though,
barely
Dan, is
win.
that they're up like by the double. Aside from today with Lamar in there, they're up in double digits in like every game. When they lose, they are like leading for almost like 99% of the game always. And so I kind of think that, I don't know, they're a little bit, it depends on what you like in a football team. When you look at them, you could have a completely different opinion.
Eric L says, do the 49ers go after Lamar Jackson next year? I mean, here's my question. Is Lamar Jackson or any mobile quarterback a good value proposition going forward when you see how these players play after a few years in the league, after they take a number of hits, after they've been hit a number of times and their running game slows down a little bit? Look at Lamar's numbers. And they just look at his numbers 2 years ago. Look at his numbers last year. Look at his numbers this year.
Last year,
he started the year hot. He was better in September than he was in October. He was better in October than he was in November. So I don't know what to make of Lamar. Is Lamar this unstoppable franchise quarterback that it's undeniable? You have to pay him and he's a top tier guy. Or is he, lightning in a bottle? And if you paid him a big money long-term deal, you'd come to regret it. What do you guys think?
I just don't like I really still like Lamar Jackson. I don't like the offense they're running. I feel like, what are you doing with, like, Lamar is a good passer of the football, but he's a little like Jimmy G. Like he doesn't throw to the boundaries very well.
Not a lot of great receiver weapons either.
That's
Demarcus Robinson, Devin Duvernay, and Deshaun Jackson.
He needs to be able to work in the middle of the field. The one year when he played well, it was because he had Mark Andrews and Hayden Hurst, and he freaking was spamming his tight ends. What are they doing going out and getting all these teeny tiny guys? Marquise Brown. Now he's gone, okay, let's bring in Devin Duvernay and Bateman. It's like, that's not
Bateman's
Lamar's
a big
game.
boy. Bateman's 6'4", but I hear you.
But he's like an outside kind of speed threat. And it's like, what? And they signed Deshaun Jackson there. It's like, I thought that they kind of found something with Likely. I thought that Andrews going out was going to make it so that they were going to realize that they should be playing both of them at the same time.
If I said to you guys, how many teams coming out of week 13 do you honestly think can win the Super Bowl? Can we do this exercise one more time?
Again? Yeah. Hey, I was just looking.
This is what I'll go with. I'm going with Buffalo, Kansas City, Eagles, Cowboys, Bucks.
Bucks?
I would say Bucks.
Bucks?
I don't know. I can't put the Niners in there because of of Purdy at this point, even though I like Purdy. But I'll say those 5. Those are the 5 because of Brady and Devin White and that defense. I got to consider the Bucs just because there's a chance that the Bucs are going to be in that Super Bowl game. They may actually get out of the NFC.
I mean, they're it's stupid, but they're gonna have a home game, and they're gonna play like the Cowboys or something.
I got 5. Do you guys have more? Less?
I do. I'll go with mine.
Oh, the
here.
Bengals, I think definitely.
Yeah, I got Buffalo. I still have Miami even after today. I think they can get there. That's 2. Cincinnati's
1-3 in their own division.
Still, they have a shot at winning the division. They play the Ravens the last week. Their 2 toughest games of the last
They'll
week.
They'll make the wild card if not.
And they also have they got to play Buffalo on Monday night, the last Monday night game. Okay, so I got Buffalo, Miami, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. How many is that? 4. And then I got Philly, Dallas. I'm still going to put the Vikings in there because they have a shot.
Yeah,
just because. I mean, and I'm going to keep the Niners in there because of their defense.
Yeah, I think the Niners still have a better shot than Minnesota.
I do too. Yeah,
with Purdy.
Yeah,
still. Yeah.
Wow. The Recovery 716 donates $10. He says, "Hey guys, love the show. When do you guys expect the Aaron Judge decision to happen? I've been watching his YouTube highlights the past 2 weeks. LOL, fingers crossed."
I'm going to say tomorrow night or Tuesday.
Why, Danny?
Tuesday. I just think the meetings are Monday. They're going on. They started today. They end Wednesday with the Rule 5 draft. And I just think there's a lot of activity that's going to start coming down tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow too.
I think it's likely tomorrow. I know Mark Willard's requested that it waits a little.
Willard's made a request? What's his request?
Just give us a little time to talk about this 49er thing, quarterback situation. So before we,
Yeah, nobody's even gonna have time to get their bonds takes off.
I mean, Judge signs.
Barry can't make the Hall, but Fred McGriff can.
And even worse, he can't even make the A block.
Pathetic, man. There's a lot of haters out there.
I saw somebody say the other day, if Rodon signs with the Yankees and Judge signs with the Giants, who won the trade?
Giants.
Giants.
Yeah.
Carlos Rodon. I mean,
I would not go.
He was good this year, but I mean, do you want him for 5 years?
I don't want any of these pitchers for 5 years. These pitching contracts they're outrageous. Texas just pushed these pitchers are loving what DeGrom signed for because everybody's now you got Bassett requesting a 4-year contract.
Yeah, that's what they call the Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, guys. I got to go get some water.
Seriously, you got to get some water.
I'm sorry. Guys.
So let's talk about that a little bit with Judge. I do feel like the Giants have the best offer in right now.
Did you hear that people are suggesting, Danny, that Brian Reynolds could be their fallback? Have you seen that?
I've seen that. I
wouldn't mind having Brian Reynolds, but
I don't mind having Ryan Reynolds.
He's nothing compared to Judge.
I'll overpay a little bit for Nimmo or Bellinger than I would trade top prospects for Brian Reynolds because you're going to need, when you get these big contracts, if they do get Judge and some other big contracts, you're going to need some of these younger guys to come up and actually produce in a few years. Because
how about this? We may have a little update on Aaron Judge. Do you want to hear this?
Is that the one I sent you?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is me just kind of guessing this has something to do with Judge. A source told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jason Mackey that the Yankees are in on Brian Reynolds and that they would use him on a corner outfield since they have Harrison Bader in center field. So maybe Reynolds to whatever team doesn't get Judge between the Giants and Yankees makes a lot of sense. Also, there's Mark Feinsand is saying that the Braves will not be the team acquiring Sean Murphy from the A's. He previously had reported that the Braves were the front runner for Murphy. Feinstein still believes the deal's close, but he no longer lists a likely scenario here. He does say the Cardinals, the Rays, the Guardians, and the Bo Sox have all been connected to the A's in the Murphy talks. So that'll be interesting. Sean Murphy's a good catcher. I'd like to have him. The A's don't need him because they have Shea Langoliers coming up, the catcher they got from the Braves. So that's interesting. The Cubs have checked in and Corey Kluber. John Heyman says the Marlins will not listen to trade offers for Sandy Alcantara, but will listen on almost anyone else. So that's interesting.
That's not bad.
Because that could be Pablo Lopez and others.
According to John Heyman, multiple teams, including Dodgers and Mets, believed to be offering Verlander a big 2-year deal, but he may try to wait for a 3rd year. I wonder who those teams are besides the Dodgers and Mets. Wonder if the Giants are one of them. I can
MLB Rumors has an interesting thing too. It says the Giants are one of many teams shopping at the top of the shortstop market this winter, and Carlos Correa is atop the front office's list. This is according to Alex Pavlovich. So Pavlovich saying that, and Carlos Correa should be atop their shortstop list. He's the best of the shortstops. I mean, Trey Turner, I think, wants to play in the East. But if, and I think I'd rather have Trey Turner, but it's close. And you could convince me that Carlos Correa is the best free agent on the market, regardless of position. And to me, that's a big time get. Also, isn't Petulia the new GM from Houston?
Yep.
Isn't that going to have some?
I think it has
some impact on
sure
Correa?
It has some impact. Yeah, there's a relationship there. So, I mean, you'll have to check out the text I sent you, Larry. Pretty hilarious. But what do we got here?
What's up, guys?
Brock!
Whoa.
How you doing?
What's up? Good predictions, Larry.
Yes, I was always a big fan, Brock. I believed in you. When nobody else did, I did. I believed in you.
Well, I mean, Ryan kind of hinted to me in the locker room when you guys come in there that he was kind of sort of feeling it. I don't know about Dan.
That's cool, Brock. You played well today. How did it feel to get out there?
Normal, as Larry said it would. We came into rock. Kick ass, take names. See you next game, pals. Gotta go.
He's got to bring that mullet back. That thing is sweet.
Ow, Brock.
Al Brock.
Nice. Al Brock in the we get this one. Bang Bang Purdy, right? Mario Hullum.
I like it. Glock Purdy. Bang bang.
Glock Purdy. Oh man. So I think a lot of action takes place. I'm thinking of getting over there tomorrow. I have to look some flights up. There's one early in the morning.
What could it cost you to get over there?
It's about $250 each way.
Can you hop on the train? Pacific Surfliner?
I could actually drive over there in 5 hours.
I drove from San Diego to Yuma once.
Yeah, I mean, I can drive from. It'd be about
snow caps on the top.
5.5 hour. That's actually 5.5 hour drive. But if I get the flight on Southwest, I get a nonstop flight and get over there at 7 in the morning.
Who would you want to go ask questions to in the lobby? If you would you run right up to Farhan and?
I'd run up to anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody.
You're not. Look at you.
I'll go right after everybody. I mean, I'll go up.
Oh, look at Danny.
I'll just like, hey, put my phone. Hey,
sick him.
Hey, hey, we got Larry and Ned Coletti live right now. You're live on YouTube. Can we ask you a few questions? Former.
You better have
Dodger GM.
You better have more game than that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, can we ask you a few questions?
I can't wait for the Yankees. I might have to just call it, guys. Honestly, my voice is so brutal right now.
Yeah, no problem. We've already been going for a while. It's, we're almost 2 hours into the live stream. It's almost 11 o'clock. I do want to watch the game again. One quick one here. What do you think? Is this it on the Barry Bonds Hall of Fame thing? Is that it? I mean, is he going to have more shots?
There'll be
eventually. When's he getting in?
It's really sad, but it'll be probably my generation when we start to get a little older and in power, and all the old folks start dying off.
Hey, you talking?
And then,
hey, I like Bonds. I'd put him in. Don't.
No. I mean, mostly like I'd say 69 and up community is like once they're all gone, then I think that, or if Bonds passes, I bet that posthumously, I bet they, which it would be
because that's the best way to do it when they absolutely can't be a good ambassador for the sport ever again.
Everyone remembers all the joy he brought them and then decide to vote him in. Stupid.
We got this one from Al Prez. He says, Brock, Wally, Pip, Purdy. Is there a chance that Brock Purdy takes this job, runs with it, and doesn't look back?
I think he's going to look back at least one time.
Would be.
It would be
what
sick.
A story would that be if Brock Purdy got this opportunity as the starting Niner quarterback, ran with it, made the most of it, and didn't look back, a la Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe, 2000.
I was talking to all my buddies after the game once I got home, and they were all just talking all this fan fiction about how, it was always meant to be a quarterback that was homegrown, and that's what was wrong. And like all this stupid stuff. It would be sick.
I mean, it would be unlikely, but it would be incredible. All right, let's do this. Let's pay the bills, and we'll come back with some final thoughts and then get on with the rest of our night on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, call and make sure you use telmetrics.co, Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Casera and the good people at Casera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Casera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. How can you go to church if you don't believe in God? And along with the sausage, also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
So New York style sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
Hey Pasquale, Dan Cochimilio here for the Krueg Show. Just picked up for the very first time some of your New York style Italian sausage here at Sam's Club in Arizona. My wife just cooked it and I'm about to take a bite. Man, this is good. Pasquale, when you winked and said you guaranteed we love it, you're right. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Best sausage I've ever tasted. Thank you, Pasquale.
Oh, man, I had to throw Danny's commercial in there at the end. And when one more fire. The beginning of this one is the best, though. Nothing's better than the packaging sounding.
Hey, Pasquale. Dan Cochimilio here for the Krueg Show. Just picked up for the very first time.
You can hear the crunching of the bag. It's just very, very legitimate. Very legitimate. Okay. We're coming down the home stretch on the Krueg Show.
Check this bag out.
I just took.
Real says, was that sausage raw? The stuff in the bag was raw, but he actually cooked it.
Yeah.
I actually want to hear from the chat a little bit. So I was just on Twitter while those commercials were running, and it seems like Grant Cohn has a hilarious beef with some other football writer guy over Purdy and like who went to training camp and like so it's hilarious. And I'd love some context as to what like this is a vicious beef occurring online like in the past hour, and it's just pretty entertaining.
Can you post it or put it up there?
Can we see it?
Oh, it's like
you want to read it?
I simply don't want to read it because of my voice.
You want me to read it? Send it to me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. A couple of these on here. Kyle McKiernan, Larry either shit his pants or Dan did a great job on that commercial. I think Dan did a great job on that commercial. We got this one from Joe Schmo. Just wish Trey Lance had given us something. It's a mystery. Yeah, that is true. I mean,
similar
we
to
really
completes.
Don't know. Eric L. What's new on Aaron Judge that you teased, Dan? What's new?
Did I tease?
Did you tease or did I tease?
I think you and Rye did.
We teased you a little bit in the car ride.
No, I mean, there's the Giants have made an offer that is higher than the Yankees right now. The Yankees will probably counter. Does Judge allow them to counter? I mean, because
Why wouldn't he?
Jacob deGrom didn't give the Mets a shot. They were
you may not drive the price up higher. Simply not allowed.
I mean, are they going to drive it up that much more significantly? The Yankees gave him a low ball offer in spring training, and it pretty much irritated Judge. He played the season out, and they had another shot, and now they're lowballing him to a point where they're not the highest bidder. So, I mean, there comes a point. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
don't you tempt the Yankees? Don't you call the Yankees cheap when it's the
nobody's
San
ever
Francisco
left the Yankees really outside of Cano, I guess. We haven't really seen anybody really leave. Nobody who had this much clout in New York has left New York. But we don't know what makes him tick, and we don't know what's going to make him happy. And who knows? Maybe maybe he's been there long enough at the 29 going on 30 where everything that he wanted to do in the Big Apple, everything he's wanted to do in Manhattan, he's done. And he's probably, he's been the toast of that town for multiple years. Maybe after a while, the grass isn't always, maybe you want what you don't have. Maybe you want the relative peace and tranquility of Northern California compared to Manhattan. We just don't know. We just don't know I would like the Giants to be the high bidder, because the Giants need this player, and they need this draw, and they need his star power in the worst way. They're just remarkably, say what you want about Farhan, but what he's built to date is just remarkably bland. You know what I mean? It's like it's turkey on white with mayo. I mean, I need a little bit more than turkey on white with mayo. I need a little bit more flavor.
Maybe he needs the warm holiday comforts of the greater East Bay area.
Yeah. Maybe, hey, I could see Aaron Judge, I mean, there's plenty of areas. We talked about it the other night, living. It wouldn't shock me for him to end up in Danville or Alamo. That's just
even though there's no team there.
Well,
Alamo, like Texas?
I'm just joking.
Good place to live, raise a family.
Though they didn't want who was
Curry.
it? No, it was Kurt Flood tried to buy a house in Alamo once upon a time, and they didn't want him there. That was years ago. That was the 60s. That was the late 60s. I'm sure Alamo, California's changed a lot since the late 60s, but that is on Alamo's resume, is they didn't want Kurt Flood.
What? Wasn't it like
it's in
wasn't
the
it like a farm country?
Well, I mean, it's always been just a nice, wealthy suburb. That's really what it is. It's perfect weather. It might have the best weather in the Bay Area.
It's got strong weather.
Danville, Alamo. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time finding a better weather. I mean, if you like warm weather, warm weather,
I could always go for I do like my Lafayette, a little bit colder.
You like
slightly
a little cooler.
Sometimes the creek can get too hot.
9 years, $360 million. I think that's the winning bid right there. I think Spencer nailed it. I think the Giants bid will be 9 years, $360.
No, I've got word that it's 9.
Oh, you got word?
9 year, $342 is what I think.
Let's move out of the way for you.
I think that's what's going to get it done. About 9 years, $342. And
why do you think you're countering my 9 years, $360 with 9 years, $342? Why?
I think if it goes 360, it's going to be more like 10 years. The AAV will come down, but I think 9 years is what it's going to be. 342, 345.
Will the Yankees go to that 9th year? And if they will, is that enough for him to stay? Those are the
I
things
think if he goes to the 9th year, the Giants push it to the 10th year. I think the Giants are willing to go 400 if they have to.
I think the Giants should.
I don't think they will right now.
What do you make of Aaron Judge removing New York from his Instagram bio? Something or nothing?
Nothing.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's a nothing just because. Yeah, I mean, Kyler did it, returned.
Debo did it.
Debo.
Hey,
did it.
I was looking here. If you took, let's say Judge was to buy somewhere around Alamo, if he comes to the Giants. Hour and 6-minute drive to Linden. Well, it's perfect.
Lyndon Donovan.
Perfect to go see Grandma and Grandpa.
And Dan Coach Emilio.
Yeah, that when you're buying there too, right?
That's right. Yeah, you go up.
How long's the drive?
You know, 680.
Can you imagine if Dan starts bitching and complaining? I got
Go
to
up
drive
to 580 towards Stockton.
I'm sick.
Follow 580
5 times in Linden.
Get on the 205 toward Tracy, Stockton, and head on out.
Right there.
Head on out, and you're heading out to
Foothills, Ione, Jackson, Sutter Creek.
I don't know. Hour's not a bad drive, you know.
Dan, is it true that your brother owns a yogurt shop in Danville, California?
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
Lafayette and Danville.
Look at that. Where, Danny, we already covered this the other day. I said I would live in Tiburon. Where did you guys say you would live if you had just endless cash? You can live anywhere you want in NorCal. And I said, I actually wouldn't mind living just in a pimp, maybe like a multi-level, like a tri-level, like on the beach in Capitola. That's all pimped out. Something where I can hear the waves break at night.
I like that.
But you might need like a helicopter or something at that point. Though.
Maybe I've got a helicopter, a helo pad on my roof.
Yeah, that's okay. Then I'm in for Capitola then.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah,
what a great area.
That's a beautiful area. I also wouldn't mind. There's some
Switzerland, says Costanza.
Up in the Napa area near the water.
I love Tahoe, but I love Tahoe in the summer.
Napa's
Chris
nice
says Tahoe.
It's quieter.
I don't know about the winter. I don't think I want to be there all winter.
I definitely want to get up to Tahoe this winter so I can catch another cold.
I gotta put my Giants cap on since we're talking.
Andrew says, just want to congratulate Larry for saying Purdy would win 49er games this season. Called it before the season started. Thank you. Thank you. Mark Graves says Healdsburg is nice. That's where Gary had his second house in Healdsburg. We got this one. Grass Valley is a nice little area. Not bad.
You want to get some serious land?
Dub Betray says big props to Larry on Purdy. Thank you.
Hey, look, I just turned on Twitter and what popped up? The Krueg show.
Whoa. Technology.
Look at you.
Hey.
I know it actually. I hate looking at.
The delay?
I hate looking at that. It hurts. It hurts my eyes because of the delay.
Gee.
I don't like those Mets colors with the Giants hat.
Yeah, it's totally weird, Dom.
Someone said Moss Beach. Joe Schmo said River Islands.
Let me throw the.
You go for a walk along the banks of the mighty San Joaquin.
Jimmy G hat on his rice head. Dang. You know, it's so sad for Jimmy G because I thought really would have
Carmel.
been
Someone said Carmel. Went to Carmel a few weeks ago, guys. Carmel ain't bad. Beautiful area.
This just goes to show you with Jimmy G going down how hard it is to win a championship in sports. Everything's got to go your way.
You're throwing them out?
I think they could still do it, but it's just, it's really a bummer because I thought it would have been just so awesome for Jimmy, the way he handled everything to go out. I mean, he's taken such a beating the last few years.
I know he didn't deserve this, man.
And then to go out this way, I mean, it just sucks for him because he was having his best. It was a career year for him. I mean, just about everybody you talked to was saying it was a Pro Bowl season.
Yeah. No, I mean, come on. Jimmy had started to take care of the football.
Don't even remember the last interception. Might have been the Chiefs game when he was at like 3 touchdowns and an interception.
He had minimized his negative plays. He was still making big plays. The Recovery 716 donates $5. Hey, Larry, has your opinion changed at all about the Giants getting Aaron Judge? Do you think we land him? Well, I was in an elevator today with somebody who might be in the know.
Might be.
And I said, hey, is Judge coming here? And I got the yes. He's looking at houses in Alamo.
Oh, Alamo. Hey, what do you know?
So there you go.
I corroborate.
The last person that I asked who might be in the know said, yes, he's coming here. He's pricing homes in Alamo. That's all I can tell you. That's straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, I guess I would lean towards he's coming here. Dub Betray, $5. I guess I'm the halfway enemy since I'm a 49er and Yankee fan. What is it? What do you say?
Oh, people are getting fired up on the inside info. Remember the Alamo.
Judge leaves its business. What? I'm not really getting that. How do you guys read this one?
I think he's saying if I'm Judge, I leave. It's all business.
Oh, if Judge leaves his business.
Or if Judge leaves his business.
Someone says Petaluma. It's a good area. Okay, Dan, sources, Larry. Okay. Judge is minus 135 favorite to land here.
All good. We buried it at the back of a 49er live stream. Shan't be.
Let's see. What else? Sausalito. Somebody said a vote for Sausalito. I don't mind Sausalito. I like Tiburon more.
Ooh,
you guys like Sausalito?
Little Blackhawk action.
My aunt and uncle, when they were lived in Tiburon.
Blackhawk?
Ooh.
What do you think of Blackhawk? You can live behind a gated community.
That's nice.
Joe Schmo says sauce is great. Short for Sausalito.
Sauce Gradna.
We've got this one. John Boitnott, Atherton next to Curry's house.
That level of wealth freaks me out.
There's something about Atherton that's a little too. I don't know. I just don't. When I'm there, I don't love it.
There's a line that can be crossed. That's why I really do think I would choose Lafayette or Moraga, because it's not quite to that level of like, you can't be around these people. They're too well off.
Yeah. Joe Schmo, Belvedere, Ross, Kentfield, Mill Valley, all solid. But I mean, come on. I'll take, Reed Ranch Road, Tiburon at the very top of the hill with the view of the city. Man, I'll take that every day. I had a buddy who lived on that street. I remember I couldn't believe his place. I was like, Jesus, dude, this place is rocking. He had a pool, hot tub, all kinds of landscaping, tennis courts, a view of the city, a view of the bridge. It's just like, dude, this is incredible.
It'll be interesting when
the Tenderloin. There you go. I don't know.
Be interesting when Turner or Correa signs.
Hillsborough.
Whoever signs first, the next will probably go within hours.
I'll tell you where I wouldn't live. I wouldn't live in some high rise right across the street from the ballpark.
Hell no.
No.
Be isolating.
Come on. Some jail cell across the street and some building where the windows don't open and you're 18 floors up looking at nothing.
That's where I understand, like, you're like people that live in
Point Richmond. That's not bad. Point Richmond's nice.
The people that live in like Calabasas, it's like they're all like, it's like they're all like rich and kind of snooty, but also like they all kind of fit in together because it's like athletes and like self-absorbed movies, like celebrities, but also like some super rich, crazy rich people. Just generally rich.
I don't get why Calabasas is such an attractive place. I've been to Calabasas a few times, but like I would never live there over living by the beach. I'd rather live by the beach.
Yeah, I mean, I think
what's the advantage of Calabasas?
It is like 25 minutes to Malibu. Like you can take an angle, and I think it's, I don't know.
Why
they
not
have like
live in Malibu?
Well, they have like really good public schools and stuff. Like I think that there's a level of wealth in Hidden Hills, which is the hidden community within Calabasas. So it's completely a next level. That's where like Drake lives and all of those kind of people. But the actual Calabasas, I think, is pretty reasonable. But still,
GTC Real says, "Give me Pismo Beach." I'll tell you, my kid goes to Cal Poly, and when I go down to visit him sometimes, or we've gone down to bring him stuff or hang out. Man, that Central Valley or that Central Coast with, Pismo, Avila Beach, it's Santa Barbara if you want to go a little further down.
You know what?
Anonymous right there.
Anonymous kind of hits it on the head. If you're going to live in like Malibu, because I remember when I had to freaking move in Adam Carolla's shit to his fucking Malibu house. It sucked dick. Sucked.
It seemed like you're over it.
It was literally 2 stories straight up, and it was like just me moving all of his furniture. It was like the worst thing ever. And that house, I think he bought for like 2.8 million, and it was not very big. And he had like a shared wall, and this was because it was in Malibu. But if you spend that same 2.8 million in Calabasas, you can be pretty close to Malibu, but also have like a giant backyard and like pool and all that kind of stuff, and big house.
I'll tell you where a spot that I couldn't believe was as nice as it was is the 280 side of Redwood City. Have you been down to Redwood City?
No,
if you say Redwood City, you think of 101. I do, at least.
Yeah.
But if you're on the 280 side of Redwood City, kind of by like Kenyatta College, man, that is an incredible spot. You're west, it's got great weather. That's where kind of the fog ends and the sunshine begins. That's a great spot. Sawyer Stewart says San Luis Obispo is a fun town. It's a small town, but it's a fun town for sure. Kyle McKiernan says Paso Robles. Alex Barbato, Larry, I called Alamo. Haha, talked with Steph. Joe Schmo says the Cal Poly area.
Okay. Wait, how about this one? I saw someone says, no way, we're talking cities. Okay, if Brock Purdy was a city in the greater San Francisco area, what would it be?
Oh, that's good. He would be like someplace that's really like what I'm talking about, like a Redwood City, like on the coast. He's an underrated play.
Yes.
He's an underrated player. It would have to be an underrated place.
Yes.
So I would say, like, I'll give you what Brock Purdy is. Brock Purdy as a football player is the equivalent of Windsor. All right. I
love that.
It's like, really, if you're living in Windsor, you're loving it. You're right there in Santa Rosa. You get this beautiful microclimate. It's cool in the morning. It's cool in the evening. It's 85 degrees in the summer. It's beautiful. It's super underrated. You want to go into the city for a game. Yeah, it's about an hour drive. Not that big a deal. You can do day trips all over California. Yeah, I would say, Brock Purdy is to quarterbacks what Windsor is to Bay Area communities. Windsor
is in. How about how's Alameda? It's kind of
underrated.
Yeah, it's underrated. It's kind of not known. It's kind of nobody really knows a lot.
Really cool. I Tolbert brought me out to that bar.
I remember
Faction.
Yes.
The brewery Faction in Alameda. It's right there.
Best view of all time.
Oh, it's the most amazing view. But
not too many people know about it. It's kind of
wow. Oh, Purdy might be Alameda.
Alameda's a little underrated. I think Alameda is. The only thing sucks about Alameda is it's hard to get out there and get out of there.
Yeah.
And also, I'll tell you, in the summertime, like we played baseball tournaments when my kid was playing high school ball. We'd leave Walnut Creek. It would be like 98 degrees. We'd get to Alameda. I swear to you, it'd be like 60 or 58 degrees.
Can Alameda win
microclimate and it's cold?
Can Alameda win in the cold? Can Alameda win a Super Bowl? I don't know.
I would say no.
Alameda
will not get it because everybody's got to go through that tunnel to get there. Get to the Super. Could you imagine a stadium where they had to go through the Alameda tunnel to
that
get
just
to the
is
stadium?
The Super Bowl.
That would just be awesome. We got this one. Alex Barbato. He says Pleasanton, Golden Eagle. Is Golden Eagle a golf tournament? Maybe.
I don't know.
A golf course. I will say this. I love Pleasanton. I think Pleasanton's super
great.
Underrated. I mean, it's warm. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's close to the South Bay. It's close to the North Bay. It's convenient. I love the climate.
Larry, what do you consider?
Schools.
What are your thoughts as a Walnut Creekian with Pleasant Hill?
A Creeker?
Because I never really figured out Pleasant Hill. I kind of like it.
I was saying that I was at Lenardi's in Pleasant Hill, and somebody was telling me I was in Walnut Creek, but I'm pretty damn sure I'm in Pleasant Hill.
See, that's the thing. I don't know where they mix.
I think Pleasant Hill starts right there around Larky Park.
Okay. It's Pleasant
you know,
Hill's more of a suggestion than like a hard drawn line. From the city.
I'm pretty damn sure that there is no Lenardi's in Walnut Creek, that it's actually in Pleasant Hill. And
I hate that kind of stuff.
I'd be willing to, I don't want to fight about it, but somebody was questioning me on my Walnut Creek knowledge, saying bad Walnut Creek knowledge. Lenardi's is in Walnut Creek, not Pleasant Hill. And I'm saying to myself, well, wait a second. If Lenardi's is not in Pleasant Hill, it's got to be no more than a stone's throw from the Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, line, because it's right there on the edge of Pleasant Hill. I mean, isn't it on Pleasant Hill Road? I think you take Pleasant Hill Road off 24, and that takes you right to Lenardi's.
They need to work on those city lines.
Seriously. If it's on Pleasant Hill Road, I'm pretty damn sure it's in Pleasanton.
Oh, there's even a Pleasant Hill Road. This is a weird one. In Lafayette, there's the Pleasant Hill Road. It connects from Lafayette to Pleasant Hill. That's a mind F. Is there a Walnut Creek in the middle of it? I don't even think so. I think it's just a direct connect.
I've taken that road before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
wild. Have you ever taken the San Ramon back road to Hayward?
Yes.
On is it Bollinger Canyon or Crow Canyon?
Oh my God. Oh my. So we have one of those in Moraga also that connects right into Bollinger, and it's insane. You go right to Berkeley. You just bang it in these backwoods, and there's all these crazy people back there on drugs. And then you just.
I one time went the back route, Vasco Road, to Livermore. All of a sudden, I'm driving in Danville. All of a sudden, I hit this Vasco Road. Maybe I'm in San Ramon next. I look up. I'm in Livermore. I'm like, how do we get here? Val Ramos says, Larry, have you ever been to Alcatraz? Yes, I have been on Alcatraz. In fact, I would encourage anybody to do the tour of Alcatraz. It's absolutely phenomenal. Really, really good. Really good. I mean, you want to learn a little bit about San Francisco history and the history of Alcatraz. It's really interesting. Actually, somebody says Vasco Road. Kevin F says has busy traffic. We got to get out. Seriously, we got to get out of here now. We got almost 400 people. We're talking traffic in Vasco Road.
I took a road that I'd never taken before when I was up there.
Yeah, I bet.
Months ago, right before you heading into the tunnel called
right.
You take this road.
You're thinking Fish Ranch Road.
It's a back to Berkeley, and there's this there's a golf course back there, and then I was leaving the wedding at
the driving range. My dad goes there every night.
It was crazy, but the fog started rolling in when we left, and it was like I couldn't see anything. It was crazy. But hey, for everybody out there that gets the Athletic, great article. I'm just reading it right now that Tim Kawakami put out about the Niners with after today about the quarterback kind of a curse, and the players, they love Jimmy. Oh my goodness. There's guys that were getting emotional. Bosa, Trey Lance.
Marry him.
I'm not Trey Lance, but Trent Williams, his quote, let me see if I can read that part of it. What Trent said, I'm crushed. Oh, wait, it sucks, man, Trent Williams said. Everybody had a lump in their throat finding out what happened to Jimmy. The message is next man up. As much as we're hurting, as much as we sympathize with our brother, the game still goes on, and we got to play, and we've got to continue to try and take advantage of our goal that's in front of us. I'm crushed, man. Jimmy's like a brother to me. Such a good guy, such a great teammate, such a good soul, great guy to be around. So yeah, I was crushed.
Who said that, Rock?
No, this was Trent Williams, I believe. Okay. Took a little minute to get it off my mind. It sucks, man. No better word for it. Just sucks. Nick Bosa said he had a hard time playing the rest of the game after halftime. So all the people out there, Nick Bosa said he had a hard time concentrating for the rest of the game, though he still almost single-handedly destroyed the Dolphins offense with 3 sacks, including a forced fumble that led to Dre Greenlaw's TD return. He says, it just stinks because I really felt him coming on even more so this year, Bosa said of Garoppolo. He's always been a great leader, but I really felt him really, really caring about this team and obviously his big role as a quarterback. I saw him at halftime, and I was pretty emotional. Guys out there that don't understand. I mean, this is a team leader. This is not just your quarterback going down. This is, a guy that the team loves. And everybody who, thinks Jimmy sucks and this and that, no, he's not, top 5 quarterback. This year he is in the NFC. He's a top 5 quarterback, but he's a guy that people rally around. And that's important in sports. If you ever played organized sports, when your leader goes down, it's a big hit.
Oh, it's an emotional thing for sure. Guys, good stuff tonight. Tomorrow we'll probably be back doing another live stream. I'm going to do a couple live streams this week. Tomorrow with Grant Cohn on his channel. I'll be doing a couple this week with Vish. Vish is back. We're going to do a couple live streams, one on our channel, one on his channel this week. I'll be filling in Friday for Damon Bruce on 95.7 The Game with Ray Ratto. So check me out Friday from 3 to 6 with Ray. Looking forward to doing that. And, of course, Ryan and I will be in Santa Clara on Wednesday and Thursday. And if we can hook up with Brock Purdy, we will. We'll try. I'll definitely make an effort. And it's funny, we could have interviewed him this week. We could have interviewed him 3 times this week. Next week, it's going to be like a battle royale to even say hi to him.
Yeah.
But
hello, Jacob Eason.
I said to him, a few times, I'm like, hey, man, when you make it big, don't forget us little people.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the success has gone to his head.
Hey, I got a question for you, Larry.
Yeah.
So what time are you on with Grant tomorrow?
I'm not really sure, but usually we go on in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that.
Okay. So if you're on his show 5-10 minutes in to his show, and I'm in San Diego and I call, he said, I got breaking news. Judge just signed the Giants. Are you going to stay on Grant's show? Or are you going to get off and say, I got to go?
I got to go. Grant, I got to go.
Okay.
Grant, Grant.
That phone is ringing.
I got it. What is it? Grant? I got to go, Grant.
Coach Emilio. He's on the phone.
Just in the middle of the
I'm here with Aaron.
I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Just commandeer the entire audience. Like, everyone that wants to find out this urgent matter, head over to the Krueg Show channel as we're about to break some news.
Seriously, like these YouTube channels are almost like, cruising through the dorms looking for a party. Hey, everybody, come with me. We're going to 319. They got a new keg. We're getting over to 319. Yeah, we're gonna party over there. You join us.
Aaron Cohn's got a bong, bro.
Dude, somebody's got a Coors Light 8-ball party ball.
That'd be great.
Now,
I'm in the
now
lobby.
I'm dating myself.
I'm here with the newest Giant, Brandon Nimmo. Giants have just signed 3 players.
The Giants have just dramatically overpaid for Mitch Haniger. Haniger also announced that in addition to signing with the Giants, that he was scheduled a surgery for next week and he will be out until May 1st. But the Giants have signed him to a 3-year deal. They're not worried that he won't be ready to go till May this year because they will have him for years 2 and 3 of the deal. But he will be having a surgery. I mean, that's what I'm expecting. Something like that. Like, they didn't get Judge, but they got a guy, and he's going to have a surgery, and he's going to miss half the year, but they got a great deal, and he'll be here for years 2 and 3.
Wait, is this real?
What?
That has to be a joke, right?
No, that's a joke.
No.
That's a joke.
Why would they want Darren Ruff? Darren Ruff stunk. That was one of the
Because
best trades ever.
Big Darren Ruff.
Somebody says, is Central Valley King, is Purdy better than Mullins and Beathard? Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Pay says, can you interview John Lynch? Yes, we can. In fact, Ryan, I just said hi to John Lynch the other day down there. So next time we see him this week or
Hey,
next
we got
week,
a picture. Ryan's got a picture of
we'll ask John
of John Lynch with Gabe Kapler today on the field.
Really?
You got to check out Gabe's
The Recovery 716. Larry, are you going to go live when Judge makes his decision? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We get this one.
Unless it's for the Yankees.
Yeah. GTC Reels. Oof. Ray Ratto, Larry, bring some caffeine to keep from depression setting in. Oh, come on. Ray ain't that bad. Eddie K says, oh, he'll happily do a Q&A with you, Larry. Who's it? John Lynch? Yeah, John Lynch and I get along good. In fact, I'll say this. John Lynch is a class act. When my dad died I guess it was almost 2 years ago now. John Lynch took the time and called me, left me a really nice message, and just as a class act, man. I mean, you remember those kinds of things. And you remember when you're in pain, if somebody was classy or gracious or whatever to you. And I'll just never forget that. John Lynch, I was feeling terrible and John picked me up. So, I think John Lynch is a good man. There's just no doubt about that. You can debate his moves like any executive, of course. But as far as just a solid human being, you're not going to find too many better than John Lynch. We got this one. How's Gary Radnich doing, and how bad does he want Judge? Well, Gary always loved stars, so I would guess he would very much like Aaron Judge. Okay. We got this one. Spencer Ulsey. See all the people talking about how Cap was wearing a CMC jersey, and they were like, I guess he's getting ready to overpay for Judge. I don't care if they overpay or not. Just get him.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, I don't think, barring $500 million, I don't think you can overpay for Judge. You give him $500 million for 10 years, you may be overpaid. But if you can keep it $400 at $40 million a year for 10 years, I think it pays for itself. The Recovery 716 donates $2. How did your fantasy team do today? Dan, LOL.
Who's asking that? Oh,
the Recovery
$2?
716.
All right, this was a great show, guys.
Yeah, I won, and I still have the Tampa Bay defense for tomorrow night.
Dan has no sportsmanship. No sportsmanship at all.
I think Dan's a bad person, everybody. I think I know it's just fantasy,
Vicky
but
Pellage.
deep down,
Vicky Pellage
I think Dan's a bad human being.
in the house. Vicky Pellage I haven't seen Vicky Pellage in the house tonight.
He's going to start dunking on.
Oh, now you're talking trash to Vicky
I'm not going
Pellage?
to talk trash to Vicky Pellage.
That's just wrong.
Hey, I still have an upcoming battle next week to get in the playoffs.
I would love to play spoiler versus you, Dan.
All right, guys, let's do this. Let's play Frank Red's song on the way out.
Yeah, and I got one other thing before.
You got something else?
I got one thing I'm going to say as a crazy thing here. I don't.
Buster and faith.
The door is
Buster and no faith. I'm tired of you abusing faith.
I don't think the door's closed on Trey Lance this year. I think if we get to January,
already said so.
No, there's still a possibility. There's still an open door.
Trout is coming to the
I
dome.
saw Grant Cohn ask that question and he got shot down.
Yeah, and Kawakami asked it too, and there's still he would love to, he said, but he's going by what the doctors say. So there's a possibility. Now,
are you saying that there might be some influence on the doctors?
Well, I think, the injury he had, Derek Carr had it, Bob Greasy had it, and they healed up in this time period. So
let's I want to see Ringo, I want to see Faith, I want to see Buster, and I want to hear Frank's song, and then we'll get out. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Check me out on the game on Friday. Check me out tomorrow with Grant. Check me out all week with Vish. Ryan and I will be in Santa Clara Wednesday and Thursday. Should be a great week.
Does this song need context? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Turn up a little bit. Come on, Buster.
Was ending. In his mind, it was serious. There was no pretending. He checked the clock on the wall before he said his goodbyes. Emitting tears, he has storms. He back into his eyes. He was old in life. There'll be no encore. He raised his hands. to the heavens, put his knees on the floor. Don't have to be a genius to know he been blessed. He said he pay it forward and always do his best. At that moment, what he's been searching for became clear. He was here to serve those who living in fear. With his newfound enlightenment in the wind at his back, he's prepared to live out his life's final act. He was a rich man now, he had purpose in life. And to capture this feeling, you don't pay a price. Before we set up on his own, he made a pledge to get some wins and live his life against the grain to the bitter end. You miss your shot at life, you think there's nothing else for you to do. This ain't a tragedy, son, I know I've seen a few. You're not responsible for somebody else's thrill. Your integrity's intact and you're still trying to climb the hill. I was a lonely man, I never thought it would come true. But sometimes in life, all you have are your dreams and you. That's when you realize that life ain't standing still. And all you can do is bow your head and accept God's will. But it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. Life is but a thrill.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you ask